So what's up? All right, the title of today's discussion is how to manifest when you do not feel worthy. Let's get right into it, okay? Oh, I have to make sure I'm live. We're gonna get right into it though. It's gonna be a good one. All right. You keep trying to become what you already are, right? Twisting yourself into shapes that prove nothing but you're forgetting. You beg for worth, not knowing that the breath in your lungs is already holy, already authorized. God did not plant himself in you to tease you with potential. He came to awaken himself through you. Not 1 ounce of striving can improve on what was already perfect before time began. You do not need to earn your dream. You do not need to become enough. You only need to remember. Remember that the gold does not apologize for being gold. The flame does not question if it is fire. So why should you? The divine does not dwell in you for no reason. And if you are willing to walk like the dream is already yours, then it is. Because you are not trying to become it. You are finally remembering you already were. All right, we're going to talk about worthiness, how to get what you want when you don't feel worthy. And this is really a core message I always try to push. When you don't feel love, when you don't feel worthy, when you don't feel ready, when you don't feel all these things, how do you get what you want? Okay, let's talk about it. Jeremiah 31:3, I have loved you with an everlasting love. I have drawn you with unfailing kindness. When we really start to read, when we really start to do that introspection, when we really start to go on this journey, what you'll realize is at the core of a lot of these spiritual teachings, we come to the truth that you are already born worthy, that everything that you desire, everything that you need is already within you. And if everything that I need is already with me and already within me, and I am told, well, if I want to get it, I have to feel worthy, then surely worthiness is one of those things. Where we miss the mark is when we believe we have to strive and reach and try and beg and plead and work and do all of these ceremonies and things to become worthy. Do I visualize right? Am I saying the right words? Am I holding it long enough, right? Instead of falling back on the truth of who you are. Let me read this again. The truth of who you are. Jeremiah 31:3. I have loved you with an everlasting love. I have drawn you with unfailing kindness. There are several verses throughout Scripture. There are several passages throughout spiritual texts that remind us of the truth, that it doesn't matter what you feel or what you think you're absolutely worthy. We talked about that prodigal son story. It didn't matter how far that son strayed. The moment he turned back to his father, even though he still felt he was far away, far off, the Father representing that source within you, your I am awareness, immediately welcomed him back, immediately went out to meet them, immediately threw him a party, immediately gave him everything that was already his. Even when we feel like we're still far off, what's up? Even when we feel like we're not where we need to be, we're not worthy, we're not loved. The truth is, because source is within us, we could be nothing less than worthy, nothing less than loved, nothing less than whole, nothing less than complete. So the challenge is always, how conscious can you be? Are you conscious and aware enough to know that no matter how you feel or no matter what you see, you still are everything that you desire to be? You are still beautifully and wonderfully made. How can you continue to go back to this? I have loved you with an everlasting love. I have drawn you with unfailing kindness. Unfailing. You are unfailing in a lot of areas. Unfailing in the love that you are, unfailing in the worthiness that you are, unfailing in the divinity that you are. These things are unfailing. They cannot be failed. All right? So let's go a little bit deeper. Faith has no backup plan, right? I want to continue this series, but I want to wrap this up in worthiness, right? Worthiness is the container, but we're going to still talk about the same divine things, all right? How certainty speaks in the language of manifestation, right? Matthew 9:29, according to your faith, be it unto you. Okay, cool. I like that. According to your faith, be it unto you. I got big faith, huge faith, right? Huge faith. Romans 10:8, the word is near you. It's near you. The word is near you. You are the word. You are the word made flesh. We talked about the definition of incarnate, right? The definition of incarnate. Don't make me blush. Don't make me blush. I'm trying to stay focused, right? The definition of incarnate. No, I appreciate you. The definition of incarnate is word become flesh, right? The word becomes flesh. So when you incarnate here, you are the word becoming flesh. You are the word made flesh. Romans 10:8. The word is near you. It is in your mouth and in your heart. We talked about this a lot ad nauseum earlier today, right? The word is within you, okay? Here we go. God will not manifest what you don't believe you deserve. Now we're really going to get into the meat and potatoes, okay? There is no room for miracles in a heart still debating whether or not it is worthy. Your ego will always create this illusion of unworthiness, this illusion of separation, this illusion of I have to strive and I have to do this work and I have to do these things to be who I was already born as. How can you work and strive? How can you try to become something that you were naturally born as, that has already been within you? How? How can you do that? The answer is you cannot. You already have everything within you. You are already as worthy as you'll ever be. If you don't feel worthy, you're still just as worthy as you'll ever be. If you feel more worthy, you're still just as worthy as you'll ever be. I need you to drill this into your own mind. I need you to stand in front of the mirror. I need you to tell yourself this. I need you to become so conscious. I need it. I need you to do this. Your future needs you to do this. Your soul needs you to do this. All the desires that you have need you to do this. I need you to keep your consciousness high enough to say, I am worthy no matter what. I am that I am no matter what. No matter how I feel. I already am in the end, okay? Heaven doesn't respond to hope. It responds to certainty. Now, we talked about worthiness. Let's talk about certainty, faith, belief. What does that mean? When you start believing that it's a feeling, you're going to get lost. You're going to get lost in the sauce, man. When you start thinking your faith, your conviction is a feeling. It's a decision. It's a mere decision. It's a simple decision to continue revisiting my desired reality no matter what. What is belief? Except for the mindset that you occupy the most. The worldview that you occupy the most is your belief. What's up? What's up? So when we say certainty, conviction, belief, faith, do not stop thinking that it is some feeling that you conjure up. Your feelings are fleeting. Your heart is deceitful. Who can know it? When we talk about feelings, you could feel one way now, you can feel another way because you get bad news. When we talk about faith, conviction, belief, we are talking about the ability to return to your desired reality. It's making a decision that no matter how I feel, no matter the temporary circumstances that I see outside of me, I will always go back to the same story. I am that I am no matter what. Everything is unfolding for me. I am prosperity. I have this thing, whatever you want. You had that person. You had that thing. You're already in that end. You do not remove yourself from it. By staying in that end, the end wills the means. The end, staying in the end creates the path. It creates infinite paths. When you stay in the end, it creates so many paths, infinite paths, that it does not matter what you do anymore. You can get to that desired reality. That desired reality must unfold. It is law. What do I have to do is always the wrong question. What do I have to remember that I already am? This is the right question. This is the $1 million question. This is the question that leads you to your prosperity, leads you to that love you want, leads you to all these things that you already are. It's remembering who you are. Catch yourself. If you find yourself saying, what do I have to do if this? What do I have to do if that? Remind yourself this is the wrong question. What do I have to remember that I already am? I already am everything I desire. Worthiness is an illusion. Lack is an illusion. Brought on because you can only experience life from one small perspective of the wholeness and infiniteness of who you are. We have to acknowledge the truth. When we acknowledge the truth of who we are, I only see life through one perspective. Lack is an illusion. The paradox is that the illusion of lack, the feeling of lack, because I can only see myself one perspective at a time, is the absolute proof that I am without lack, that I'm absolutely whole, absolutely worthy, absolutely divine, absolutely loved. The fact that I can, from one single perspective, I can feel the lack of love. It is my soul trying to remind you that you are infinitely loved. You are infinite love. You could not experience the lack of it if you weren't all of it. It is the paradox, right? It is how we have to, it is a knowing that we have to pull our logical minds into. We have to completely drop this illusion of lack, of unworthiness. It is a lie. Stop pretending to be who you're not. Stop pretending to be someone that you're not. Whenever you buy into it, I'm unworthy. Oh, I have to work to become worthy. You're lying to yourself. You're pretending to be something that you're not. Source is within you. How could you be anything less than worthy? How could you be anything less than love? The only thing that stops you is you. It's the story that you tell. This is why consciousness, your presence, is so important. What is consciousness but awareness? When we talk about consciousness, a lot of people, we misconstrue it to think that it means some kind of intelligence or this. Consciousness is my ability to hold my consciousness on something, to stay aware, to stay present with myself, to be conscious of the stories going on. Your mind is going to run, but are you the conscious observer? Are you walking through life so conscious, so present, that you refuse to let that story of who you're not pass by your awareness anymore? This is what Joe Dispenza says, right? You become like Gandalf at the gate saying, stop, you cannot pass. You have to be that person in your consciousness, in your awareness. You have to monitor your thoughts, monitor your beliefs, your expectations. You have to look at the external world and say, I don't care what the situation looks like. If it is movement, that is proof that it is unfolding for me. The human mind, the ego, wants to judge things right, wrong, good, bad, unfavorable, favorable. If it is moving, I know, without a doubt, I know. When I say without a doubt, I'm not saying without a doubtful feeling. I'm saying I know my story will stay consistent without a doubt, no matter how I feel, no matter what I see. It must be unfolding perfectly because the God within me, the source within me is perfect. So the situation must be unfolding what? Perfectly. Okay? Perfectly. Heaven doesn't respond to hope, it responds to certainty. When you carry the vibration of absolute knowing, once again, what is absolute knowing? It is, I'm returning to this story, the same story. What if you don't feel absolute knowing? It's not a feeling. The heart is deceitful, who can know it? It's not a feeling. It is not a feeling. It doesn't say as a man feels, so is he. It says as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. As you think it, certainty is thought. It is story. It is the explanation. It is the expectation. It is the refusal to entertain that plan B. Remind yourself, I already have it. If today was your birthday and you were 32, you turned 32, and you accidentally slip up and say, oh, I'm 31. You're going to correct yourself. Oh, shit, no, I'm just 32. Because you fell off for a second, does that make you less 32? No. Because you have a feeling, and all of a sudden that feeling wants to pull you to tell the story, and you catch yourself, you say, no, I already have it. Does that make you less already have it? No, you still have it. We have to evolve and understand that it is the story, our explanation. It is what we're saying that transcends all feeling or what we see. You become like Neo in the Matrix. When the bullets are flying, when the unfavorable circumstances are flying to you, you no longer run. You no longer try to put on a show and fight against it. You simply look at it and say, if you are still secretly preparing for disappointment, you know if you are still secretly preparing for disappointment, you're not in faith. You're in fear, dressed as strategy. I have to be realistic. You are reality. You are reality. Reality is not out there. We can argue for our limitations all day. We can all come up with a long list of circumstances. Oh, I have to be realistic because of this. Because my ex did this. Because the money did this. We can all sit and name out a whole bunch of things, right? If we got into a competition, ain't no telling who would come out on top, right? But when we are secretly preparing for disappointment, we are not in faith. We are in fear dressed as strategy. Fear dressed as strategy, okay? Next quote. He who walks in faith does not wonder if the ground will appear beneath his feet. He steps, and it is. Next quote. Doubt is not humble. Doubt is not humble. It's not humility. It is a betrayal of the God within. Neville Goddard. Doubt is not humble. It is a betrayal of the God within. All right? What you call preparing for all outcomes is often just code for refusing to commit to the one outcome you truly want. It should feel some kind of way if you've been doing it. It should feel some kind of way. What you call preparing for all outcomes is often just code for refusing to commit to the one outcome you truly want. But divine power only flows through the path of no return. Burn the boats. There is no going back. You're not going back to that old life. You're not going back to that old life, okay? Let's get into it. Faith is not a feeling. Faith is not a feeling. Faith is not a feeling. It is an identity. You don't feel your way into the dream. You become the version of you who already received it. This is what Jesus, who represented your I am awareness, modeled. He didn't pray as a beggar. He commanded as a son to remind you that you too are a child of the Most High, right? John 11:42. I know that you always hear me. I know that you always hear me. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. Whatever I see out there, I shall fear nothing. I shall tell the story of what I want. I will not cop out by trying to create some kind of plan B. I will not betray myself. I will not betray or doubt the God within me. Because you're divine, my brother. It's because you're divine. I will not betray the God within me. I will not betray myself. I will not betray my destiny. All right? John 11:42, let's say it one more time. I know that you always hear me. John 20:21, as the Father has sent me, I also send you. As the Father has sent me, I also send you. Okay? If the Christ within you speaks, creation responds. What does that mean if the Christ within you speaks? It means if your divine ass speaks. Okay? You don't ask the mountain to move with trembling. You speak to it with authority. You don't wish, you know. What is knowing? What is belief? What is faith? What is conviction? It is the refusal to tell any other story but what is in alignment with my soul, my spirit, my highest desire. I refuse to tell the story of anything less. I absolutely refuse. I will not betray myself. You will not betray yourself. You will not betray the God within you. You only speak from the fullness, from the authority of what you want. You only speak from the identity of one who already has what they want, who expects what they want to unfold beautifully from within them. Okay? Next part. The world you see is the delayed echo of your consciousness. The invisible dream is more real than what currently surrounds you, okay? But most people reverse this, worshiping the present evidence instead of the eternal truth. All right? The invisible dream is more real than what currently surrounds you. But most people reverse this, worshiping the present evidence instead of the eternal truth. What do you worship more? This goes back to everything. This is why so much of the separation we experience in this reality is harmful. I always give this example of the king, of you being the temple, you being the temple of the divine, the kingdom being within you. So do you show more reverence in the building, a structure that a man made? Or do you show more reverence when you go within the temple of what God made, what Source made? Do you understand that when you go within yourself and you're communing with your imagination, you're communing with Source? This is the temple. When you speak, you're speaking from the temple. The building out there is meaningless. It's holy because the sacredness and the divinity of you is within it. Right? What do you worship more? Do you worship the external circle? This is the illusion the separation, thinking that it's out there and in here. It's me and them. When it's all I am. It is all I am. The kingdom is within you. Everything that you see out there is I am. Everything that you are is I am. It is all you. Most people reverse this, worshiping the present evidence instead of the eternal truth. The eternal truth is I am. What is the only thing that is true and permanent about you is I am. Everything else is what? It's temporary. It fades, falls apart. If it changes, if it's temporary, it's not real. It's a real experience, but it's not real. The only thing real about you is I am, and I am can take the identity of whatever. Your I am is unchanged by circumstances, untouched by your feelings, untouched by what you see in this external reality. Okay? Situation might not look perfect, but I am. My feelings might not be perfect, but I am. All right? Romans 12:2, do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. All right, I'm going to beat this one into y'all's heads. All right, we're going to walk around saying that Romans 12:2, do not conform to the pattern of this world. Don't conform to the external circumstances. What does that mean? I see the circumstance and all of a sudden it gives me an excuse to tell a different story, but you don't understand. Yeah, I understand my thoughts create reality, but you don't understand the situation. Everything that you say after the but is bullshit. Every excuse you give after is bullshit. Yeah, your thoughts create reality, but I don't want to hear anything after but. What if my situation's like this? Doesn't matter. What if I'm feeling like this? Doesn't matter. What if my nervous system? Yeah, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, right? I've given example after example, right? Just nervous system all over the place. The feeling of doubt, the feeling of fear, anxiety, it's running through you. Don't give yourself an excuse to tell the wrong story. This is all it is. You're pretending to be somebody that you're not. I'll constantly go to this. It does not say, as a man feeleth in his heart, so is he. It says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. As a man thinketh in his heart, so does he. The heart is deceitful, who can know it? Every single reality, every single thing that you desire, you can have it. No exception. All right? No buts. The buts don't matter, all right? 2 Corinthians 4:18, the seen is temporary, but the unseen is eternal. Okay, the seen is temporary, but the unseen is eternal. Love that. I love that, okay? When you treat the dream as if it's far away, it remains far away. But when you walk in it before the evidence shows up, you accelerate its arrival. This is the faith that pleases God, right? Hebrews 11:6. Because faith doesn't wait for proof. Faith is the proof. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. I think I said it right this time. Faith is the evidence. Faith is the substance. Okay? Faith doesn't wait for proof. Faith is the proof. Right? We can no longer look to the external world to wait for it to move to determine if we are doing this right. We have to make the decision. We have to put our consciousness on ourselves, on us. But that's selfish. This is reality creation. The point of your consciousness is to be conscious of something. Everything out there starts from within you. So be conscious of you, be conscious of yourself. Be conscious of yourself, okay? Quote from James Allen, the soul attracts that which it secretly harbors, that which it loves, and also that which it fears. Okay, let's talk about that. All right. Burn the safety net. The dream requires total surrender. You cannot hold the dream and your fear at the same time. One must go. Total faith feels like danger to the ego. But what about my backup plan? What about this? What about that? It's your ego screaming at you. Hey, it's my job to keep you safe. You have kept me safe and I appreciate you. But now we're going to do a new thing. Total faith feels like danger to the ego, but to the spirit, it is homecoming. Finally, my brother is walking in his divinity. My sister is walking in her divinity, right? You must surrender to the version of you who has already received. That means releasing who you were when you were still doubting, okay? Now, I'm gonna try to say this in a different way. And then we're gonna really get into this next parable of Jesus telling you how to create reality. When we talk about releasing who you were, right? You can't hold the dream and fear at the same time. When we talk about releasing who you were, all right? When we talk about detaching from judgment, I want you to think about the last thing that you received in your life that excited you. I want you to think about maybe the last time you got a car or something big, a new job or whatever. And then I want you to go back and think about the 6 months prior to that. And what you'll probably realize is that some things good happened and some things that you probably judged as negative happened. But in the end, it all unfolded. And by the time you had it, you didn't give a damn about what you went through. You didn't give a damn about what the ups and downs were. You were in such gratitude, right? You were in such you were so glad that you made it to that point that you understood that everything happened for a reason. When I talk about detachment, I'm not saying that you have to just allow bad things. What I'm saying is you have to remove your ability, you have to remove your desire to judge conditions at all. If you already had it, then you wouldn't judge anything that you're going through that looks opposite of it as negative anymore. You would say it all happened for a reason. Instead of waiting till you get it to change your perspective right now. Looking out at that 0.001% of reality and judging it as negative is like taking a cup and scooping a cup full of water from the ocean, looking at it and making the declaration that you now understand the ocean and all of its life forms in totality because you have studied this one cupful. You don't know anything. When Christ, representing your I am awareness, says, do not judge by appearance, but judge righteously, it is deeper than because it's a quote unquote sin. It's because you couldn't possibly judge. You don't have the perspective. We don't have the perspective from our third dimensional view to judge things how they are. We've also been given the strict declaration, rather the strict rule, thou shalt decree a thing and it shall be added unto thee. Whatever you say it is, that's what it is. So on 2 separate occasions, we have been told, do not judge by appearance, judge righteously. Because you can't judge it, because you only see such a small part. And then we're told whatever you say it is, that's what it is. If this isn't a clear indicator of how you should handle the situations you don't think are ideal, then I don't know what is. What if it doesn't look right? Well, scripture says, do not judge by appearance, judge righteously. Because you can't understand it. And then it says, thou shalt decree a thing and it shall be. So just by me saying it's not working out, it looks bad, I'm the one who is speaking life into the situation. There's no reality out there. The kingdom is within you, as within, so without. Everything out there, start looking at it as absolutely meaningless. And then start decreeing that it's all working out for you, because it is. The only way that you can get to what you want from here to there is things have to change, right? That's an absolute fact, right? To get from where you are right now to where you want, things have to change in your reality. How do you expect these things to change? What do you think the changing is for? When we detach ourselves from this desire to judge everything as right and wrong, which is a human thing. I'm not saying you're going to walk through life and you'll never be able to judge again. I'm saying you have to catch yourself. When we walk through life and we start detaching from our need to judge, we can look at reality and say, I have this desire, I was here, and now I have this desire, and I understand it's a promise, In every single shift, everything I see is evidence. It's evidence that because it is changing, I have embodied this new version of myself. And everything becomes evidence for your desires unfolding. What if you don't feel worthy? It doesn't matter. You are worthy. It's not about your feelings, right? It doesn't say as a man feeleth. It says as a man thinketh. Whatever you say, whatever you speak, that is what it is. You could be nothing less than worthy because source is within you. The illusion of thinking we have to work and strive and reach and perform to get something that we were born as. One of the greatest lies we've ever been sold. You can't become something that you already are. You can't become something you already are. You can't work any harder to be born. You already are it. What if I feel less born? When we say things like, what if I don't feel worthy? It's like saying, what if I don't feel like I'm born? What does that even mean? Source is within you. You're absolutely worthy. It couldn't be anything less. The only thing that declares that you're not is you making that statement. It's not about what you feel. Don't allow your feelings to give you an excuse to tell a story of who you are not. Stop allowing your feelings to give you an excuse to lie about yourself. Stop pretending to be somebody that you're not. Okay? Now, let's get into this next part, right? Luke 5:37. Luke 5:37. No man puts new wine into old wineskins. Right? No man puts new wine into old wineskins. A wineskin. A nice old saying. Okay, what does this mean? This is a metaphor. Jesus, representing your I am awareness, used to speak of spiritual renewal and inner transformation. In ancient times, wineskins were made of animal hide and once stretched by fermentation, right? You got to go through this process to make the wine, and they put it in the wineskin. They do all this science, magic, right? And all of a sudden, once it is stretched by the fermentation, it cannot contain new wine without bursting. Without bursting, okay? Likewise, Jesus is saying you cannot pour divine revelation, new identity, or higher consciousness into a vessel, a mindset, an identity, or life structure that hasn't been renewed. Let's think about that. What does that mean? What does that mean? Yes, you have this desire, but you haven't committed to it. You haven't married it. It hasn't become your identity yet. You're still entertaining the opposite. You still say, well, I don't feel good, so maybe that means I'm not worthy. So I'm going to tell the story of what I don't want. Well, yesterday I felt worthy and I was really good, but then I looked out and I saw a situation that didn't look right and I judged it. And now I gave myself an excuse to tell the story of what I didn't want. You're in the same identity, trying to bring something new into that old identity. Kill that old identity. Kill it. Sacrifice it. All right. New vision requires a new container. You cannot receive the fullness of what God is trying to pour into your life while clinging to the beliefs, habits, or self-images shaped by your past. Spiritually, this means if you want to walk in your dream, your calling, the identity God has shown you in glimpses, right? It's how a source speaks to you through your desires. You must be willing to shed the old you. You must be willing to get that new desire of what you want and say, oh shit, this is who I really am. I refuse to abandon myself. I marry this desire. I commit to it. I say I do. I propose. I get down on one knee in front of my mirror and I propose to the new version of me. I will never abandon myself again. I will never think against what I want again. And if I do, I will catch myself. Okay? The version of you rooted in fear, striving, scarcity, or unworthiness, all of these illusions, pretending to be somebody that we're not, thinking that worthiness is a feeling. Worthiness is more you than your name. Worthiness is tied closer to you than your name. Okay, if you feel good or feel bad, you don't feel less of your name. Worthiness is attached to you 100-fold, 1,000-fold, infinity-fold more than your name is attached to you. right? The dream is not about just, okay, hold up. All right. The version of you rooted in fear, striving, scarcity, or unworthiness cannot hold the new wine of divine fulfillment. The dream is not just about what you receive. It's about who you're willing to become. We focus on just getting the thing. If I just say this, I get the thing. You cannot think against it. This is a new identity. And by new identity, let's not make this overly complex. New identity, what it means is I refuse to think in my old ways. I die to the old. The old me would have been thinking about the negative things. Then when I get the desire, this is actually what I want. Now I refuse to think against it. I step in a new identity, just a new pattern of thought, belief, conviction. All this just means, what do I visit in my mind most? That's all it means. Conviction, faith, all those things. What do I visit in my mind the most? This is what it is. Let's demystify this. I refuse to think against it. Okay? Now, let's go a little bit further. The dream is not just about what you read. Damn, I sounded just like my dad when I said that. Now, I always catch myself doing that, and I'm always proud when I do stuff like that. All right? The dream is not just about what you receive. It is about who you are willing to become. God will not pour glory into a vessel that is committed to its limitations. Damn. That was tough. That was a haymaker right there. All right, let me say that one more time. Brace yourself. God will not pour glory into a vessel that is committed to its limitations. Let's give some examples of limitations. Do you understand your thoughts create reality? Yes. The situation that you're in, do you want to transcend it? What do you actually want? Do you know what you want? Yes. Are you committed to it? Yes. But everything after but is bullshit. Everything after but is arguing for my limitations. But you don't understand how I feel. But you don't understand what I see. But you don't understand what I'm thinking. You don't understand my past, my parents, my trauma, my ex, my breakup, everything after but is bullshit. You've never been told, he who argues the most, he who begs the most gets it. You've never been told that. The one who begs the most shall reap everything that they desire. It was never told that, right? Blessed is he who believes before he sees. Do not judge by appearances, but judge righteously. Thou shalt decree a thing, and it shall be. Whatsoever you ask, my Father, the Father in my name, shall be given to you. Whatever. Okay? It's all about your words, your story, what you're saying. All right? You must become a new wineskin, flexible, transformed, and ready to hold the fullness of what heaven wants to give. You will not evolve without shedding. If your current self could carry the dream, you would already have it. Another haymaker right there. That one might have been an uppercut. If your current self could carry the dream, you would already have it. Release that old version of you. Release the version of you that wants to argue for limitations, cling to the past, make backup plans to the story of what if it doesn't work out, kill it. What if it doesn't work? It will. What is a belief but what you visit in thought most frequently? You've just thought it so much that all of a sudden you think that belief is a feeling. It's not. Your belief, you can believe something and feel good, believe something and not really think that you believe it, but you revisit it so many times, that it is your reality. Demystify this. Belief is not a feeling. Not a feeling. The heart is deceitful. Who can know it? All right? Who must you let die for the next version of you to be born? What part of you must you sacrifice, give away for that next part of you to be born? Number 4, speak only from the fulfilled reality. My favorite subject. You're not allowed to speak against what you want. You're not allowed to do it. But what if? Don't care. But what if I see? Nope. You're not allowed to speak against what you want. You embody what you want, and this makes the path. By staying in the end, an infinite amount of ways to get to that end are created of all different varieties, all different lengths. It doesn't even matter what you do at that point when you occupy the end. Everything is the bridge of events, of incidents. Everything that you do is leading you to where you need to be. Stop affirming your limitations. When I speak of affirming, I'm speaking of every word that you speak. Every word you speak is a prayer. Every word you speak is an affirmation. Whatever you ask the Father in my name, I am. Whatever you ask the Father, I am is the name, right? Whatever you ask, whatever you attach to I am is a prayer, it's an affirmation. And everything that we say is always a declaration of who we are, consciously or unconsciously. Me complaining about women is me saying I am the type of person who only gets these types of women. It's all a declaration of who I am. Stop arguing for your limitations. Stop affirming your limitations. Let others argue for theirs all day. Do not join those conversations anymore. If you know that everything that you desire was just on the other side of you changing your explanations, your stories, then what would you do? How would you be? Would you sit around all Saturday talking about the limitations, how men ain't shit, women ain't shit, how it's hard to get money and the government's beating me down to the economy and oh my God, and I can't. Would you put on your victim identity and play pretend to be a victim all day if you understood that was creating your reality? You no longer do that. Stop affirming your limitations. Every word you speak is a spell. This was the purpose of language in the first place. Every word you speak is a spell. Every complaint is a prayer for more of what you don't want. You don't describe what is. You declare what shall be. But I'm just telling it how it is. You are reality. You are creating. Whether you're reacting to shit you don't want or you are saying the shit that you want, you are creating. You do not describe what is. You declare what shall be. It's all creative. Every word is a magic spell. If you got to shut up, you got to shut up. You got to put some duct tape over your mouth because you got them loose lips that are sinking the ships of your manifestation. That's what you got to do. Stop speaking against what you want. All right? Joel 3:10, another one of my favorite scriptures, favorite quotes, right? Let the weak say I am strong. AKA, what does this mean? Let the weak say I am strong. Let's say it in a different way. Let the one who sees lack say I am prosperity. Let the one who feels unloved say I am love. Let the one who says I feel unworthy say I am worthy. Let the one who doesn't have who they want say I am in a divine relationship with that person. This is clear instructions. Let the weak say I am strong. It doesn't say let the weak reprogram thy subconscious mind until they always feel strong. It doesn't say that. It doesn't say let the weak say that they are strong and then say but this circumstances, but what I'm seeing is you are reality. What you see out there does not matter. Let the weak say I am strong. Right? We overcomplicate it because we believe that our scenarios are so special. We believe that what we are feeling, what we are seeing is so like nobody else has overcome it. The metaphor of Christ getting killed on the cross, dying, resurrecting, is the metaphor that no matter what you're going through, there is salvation. And we went through that story in depth when we went through from Barabbas all the way to the Christ's resurrection. Is that Barabbas, what does Barabbas represent? Because if you remember the story, Pontius Pilate had Barabbas and Jesus. Barabbas was known as a robber. They said he was a robber in Scripture. A robber. Keep in mind, right? All the characters in Scripture represent different aspects of your consciousness. So Barabbas was known as the robber. Christ is known as the truth, the knowing of who you are. Your I am awareness. All right? So all the people, they yelled, free Barabbas. Now, if you read this literally, you're going to say, these idiots. What do you mean? Why would you free the robber? The one who's been robbing you. The one who's been walking in your home and stealing your shit. You want to release him? It would make no sense. But the meaning metaphysically is that when you have a desire trying to raise that I am awareness, trying to get the things that you want in your life, there are going to be thoughts that come to rob what you want. Another metaphor of this is the Virgin Mary. Christ shows up, or God shows up to you and gives you a desire within your mind. Nobody else has it. The desire is conceived within you. And then the outside world, people try to, no, you can't get it. The outside circumstances say, look at me. You're going to have to go give birth in the manger. That sounds crazy. All right. Now, what the meaning of this is, let's go back to the Barabbas, is that you have to choose to free those limiting thoughts. You would have no power over me. This is what Jesus said right before that, right? You would have no power over me if it was not given from above. Meaning, I am the one who decides whether this thought is going to have power, whether I'm going to identify with it, whether this circumstance is going to have power, whether I'm going to identify with it or as it, or whether I'm going to tell the truth of who I am. And so by freeing those thoughts now, of course, Jesus was flogged, he was crucified, but he resurrected. This is all symbolic, symbolism. The story of Christ, all the metaphors, the story of his life, especially the crucifixion and resurrection, it is packed full of metaphors. Reading that in a metaphysical way will open your mind to a lot of things about biology, about manifestation. It's very, very meaningful, okay? So Joel 3:10, let the weak say I am strong. Proverbs 18:21, death and life are in the power of the tongue. Your words are creating hell or creating heaven. That's what it is. You're creating the life, and you have to confront your words. You have to. None of them are empty. Job 22:28, another one of my favorites. You shall decree a thing. Thou shalt decree a thing, and it will be established for you. All right? Excuse me. Reality doesn't respond to your need. It doesn't respond to your need. I need it. Begging. It doesn't respond to your need. It responds to your speech. I have it. It's unfolding perfectly. Don't care what it looks like. If your mouth still speaks like a slave, your life cannot manifest like a king. The meaning of that is the begging, the pleading, the pretending to be something that you're not, acting like you're unworthy, acting like you're not divine, acting like you're not loved, right? This is one of my favorite stories that I always bring up is talking to one of my clients and coming to the realization I've been remembering myself wrong. I've never been unloved. I was just basing love on the external. I was basing love on the external. And because I was chasing it out there and I couldn't get it from my family or my exes or whatever, I thought I was unloved, but it was just a mirror because I was searching for validation out there. The universe source says, because you're searching for it out here, it must be missing within you. Let's make it match out here. As within, so without. The kingdom is within you. Let's make it match out here. The kingdom is within you. It's all you. But the moment that I remembered the truth, sources within me, I've always been infinitely loved. I've always been infinitely provided for, infinitely reflected. I've always been divinely loved to the fullest. Then all of a sudden, what happened? We shared some tears. We laughed about it. Great conversation. Then all of a sudden, the next day, I get a long ass email. You're not gonna believe what happened. People from my past that I felt didn't love me are calling and confessing how much they love me, are proving to me my new identity that I've never been unloved. This is how quickly your life can change. It all starts with you. Stop pretending to be something that you're not. The moment you stop acting like you're anything less than love and divine and perfect and worthy, when you stop acting like you are not those aspects, now the world can give you all the things that you desire. Surrender that old version of you. Let it rest. It's tired. It doesn't need to protect you anymore. Surrender it. And now you both can live the life of your dreams, okay? Florence Scovel Shinn, your word is your wand. The word is your wand. Your word is your weapon, all right? Next part. Manifestation begins when options end. Manifestation begins when options end. The power begins when compromise ends. When you drop the back door, the energy becomes unstoppable. That was a crazy phrase. When you drop the back door, the energy becomes unstoppable. The universe responds or respects decisiveness because it mirrors your state of being. It mirrors your state of being. Joshua 24:15. Choose ye this day whom ye will serve. You can't serve two masters. Who will you serve, the truth or the lie? The truth is you already are the person who has what you want. The truth is it's already unfolding perfectly. The lie is you're not worthy. The lie is you're not loved. The lie is that you are in lack. You could never be in lack. The source within you is 100%. It's absolute. It's infinite prosperity. It's infinite abundance. I don't think we really understand what infinite means. How close can you get to counting to infinity? The number's so big, you're gonna fuck that. I'm not finna even think about it. It's too big. All right. Here's another one. I would rather fail at what I want than succeed at what I don't. Now, I say that, first of all, you gotta realize you can't fail. You can't fail, okay? But why I say that is because we cling so much to the possibility of failure. It's as if we don't read. Ask and ye shall receive. Blessed is he who believes before they see. Whatever you ask in the Father's name will be given to you. Thou shalt decree a thing and it shall be. As within, so without. We're told in so many different ways that if you ask, if you stay, if you do not waver, you will get it. Yet, we make up these excuses, we argue for our limitations, and we focus our attention on what we don't want. Your awareness, your consciousness is reality. Why would you focus it on anything that you don't want? If you are guaranteed to get what you want by staying in the awareness of having it, that's what is more important in your life than that? If everything that you desire is on the other side of you embodying, of you stepping into your awareness, stepping into your consciousness, and not letting any thoughts that are against it pass, what are you spending your life doing? Like, what else could you possibly be doing? What else do you want to do? It's all you. It all starts with you. It all starts with your decision. Okay? Hold the thought. Hold the thought. All right? Once you have seen the vision, neutrality is rebellion. Once you have seen the vision, once you have that desire, neutrality is rebellion. Once you've received the dream in spirit, pretending you don't know is disobedience. You are denying the God within you. You are denying the true version of yourself to come forth. You are denying yourself. You must walk in it like it is law. You must walk in it like it is law. All right? Now, we got 4 reflection questions. Number 1, what fear am I still calling practicality? But Dwayne, I got to be realistic. But Alice, I got to be realistic. I got to tell it how it is. Reality is not how it is. It's how you are. Reality is not how it is. It's how you are. There's nothing out there. Number 2. Matter of fact, let me say it again. Make sure y'all wrote this one down. What fear am I still calling practicality? I gotta be practical and realistic. What you assume to be true, what you go to most frequently in your mind, that is reality. Number 2, where have I left a back door of this wording? All right, where have I left the back door open in case the dream doesn't work? Where have I left a plan B open? Yeah, that don't even sound like a backup plan. Where have I left a backup plan open in case the dream doesn't work? Where? Where in your life are you entertaining the backup plan? Well, if it doesn't work out, just in case, right? Where are you betraying yourself? Where are you denying that source within you? Not two of them. Not two of them. Make it a solid 3. Or you must like even numbers. All right, number 3. Am I speaking from the vision or from the void? Am I speaking from the vision or am I speaking from the lack of having it? Who are you being? Who are you being? Am I speaking from the vision or from the void? From the lack? Huh? And number 4, who do I need to become to walk as if it's already done? This is intentional. This is very intentional. This question, the wording, who do I need to become? Because we understand, what do I need to do is going to be the wrong question. What do I remember? What do I need to remember that I already am is always the right question. So who do I need to become? I need to become someone who already remembers who they truly are, who understands the divinity of themselves, who knows that they are absolute worthiness, absolute love, absolute perfection, absolute beauty, absolute magnetism, absolute prosperity, absolute everything that you desire. Everything that you desire. All right? So those are the 4 reflection questions. Now, in closing, right? And I got some good affirmations for y'all today. All right? We got in closing, we got a final wrap it all up, and then we got some affirmations, some good ones. So in closing, I do not rehearse failure. I only rehearse fulfillment. I speak as one who has already received. There is no what if. There is only it is. There is no what if. There is only it is. I burn the bridges to lesser versions of myself. I walk in the dream as if it were memory. I walk in the dream as if it were memory. The word is in my mouth and in my heart, and I release it with divine power. I am the word. I am the word made flesh. Right? And I release my words into reality to create for me whatever I want. All right? This is remembrance. Faith does not flirt. It marries. I know y'all like that one. That was a bar. Faith does not flirt. It marries. And today, say I do to your destiny. Right? Faith don't flirt, it marries. And today, say I do to your destiny. All right, let's wrap this up. It was never about becoming worthy. You are the breath of God wrapped in bone, the voice of eternity pretending to be unsure. You are the breath of God wrapped in bone, the voice of eternity, the voice of the infinite. You are the crossroads. How I love to say this. You are the intersection of divinity and identity. You are the intersection of divinity and identity. You are pretending to be unsure. You do not manifest by achieving, but by remembering. The dream isn't a reward for doing things right? Bringing logic into spiritual processes. It is a revelation of who you've always been beneath the forgetting. You were not born to earn love. You are the evidence of love. You were not born to earn love. You are the evidence of love. Your existence is the evidence of love. Do you feel that? Do you understand that? Do you know that? Do you see that? Do you believe that? I want you to feel that you are the evidence of love. You're not here to earn love. You don't have to earn love. You're not here to earn shit. You are worthy of everything by right of consciousness. This is even why Jesus said, who is worthy? Who is worthy? By human standards, who is worthy? It's all yours by right of consciousness. It is all yours by right of consciousness, right? All right. I do a little writing. All right. You were not born to earn love. You are the evidence of love in motion. So stop waiting to feel like you're enough. Stop shrinking into strategies and hesitations. You are not here to become someone different. You are here to awaken as the one God already spoke into being. This is very intentional. These words are very intentional. It is the constant reminder that because you exist, you are divine. Because you exist, you are worthy. Because you exist, you have everything that you need. None of us came to this reality lacking anything. You don't lack shit, okay? You are not here to become someone different. What does this sound like? Oh, when I get this thing, then I'll do this. When I have that thing, then I'll feel like this. When I have that person, then I'll be loved. No. You can have those things because you already are those things. Reverse the process, okay? You are here to awaken as the one God already spoke into being. I knew you before you were born. I knew you before you were formed in your mother's womb. I knew you, right? The word is in your mouth. The dream is already coded into your being. Walk like it's done. Speak like it's law. Because when God is within you, unworthiness is a lie. That word is intentional too. It's a lie. Walk like it is done. Speak like it's law. Because when God is within you, unworthiness is a lie. Pretending to be something that you're not. You're so divine. You're so powerful. You're so perfect. You're so worthy. It's inconceivable to you. We can't even wrap our human minds cannot wrap around how divine and how perfect we are. Can't even wrap around it. Can't wrap around it. Walk it like I talk it. You feel me? All right, now let's get into some affirmations, all right? I want you to feel these. I want y'all to just relax for a little bit and know that you are these, okay? Number one, I do not strive to become. I remember who I already am. Okay. God is within me, so unworthiness is a lie I no longer serve. God is within me, so unworthiness is a lie I no longer serve. We got bar after bar today. Number three, I speak as one who is sent, not as one who is waiting. My word is prophecy. My word is law. My word is law. My word is prophecy. Sources within me. I speak truth. Thou shalt decree a thing and it shall be. Next up, I release every identity that cannot hold what heaven is pouring into me. I release every identity that cannot hold what heaven is pouring into me. I am not chasing a blessing. I am my answered prayer. Okay? I hope you felt that one. I am not chasing blessings. I am my answered prayer. I am that I am, right? There is no backup plan. Don't worry, we still got 3 left, right? Go on and sit down. Stay for a minute. There is no backup plan. I am fully aligned with plan A, my divine destiny. There is no backup plan. There is no backup plan. I am fully aligned with plan A, my divine destiny. The word is in my mouth and in my heart, and I declare my reality with power. The word is in my mouth and in my heart, and I declare my reality with power. I declare my reality with power. You are power. You are infinite power. Do you understand that? Okay? And last but certainly not least, I am worthy because I was created in the image of the I am. I will never forget again. I hope you feel that. I hope you felt that. I am worthy because I was created in the image of the I am. I will never forget again. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I love them. I love every single one of them, right? Remember, unworthiness is a lie. Unworthiness is a lie. You're lying to yourself. You're pretending to be somebody that you're not. You are absolutely worthy. You are absolutely loved. You have everything that you need within you right now. You could not be anything less than divine, even if you tried. Even if you tried. What if I don't want to be worthy? Too bad. With your divine ass, you still are. What if I don't want to be loved? Too bad. You still are. You have God flowing through you. You are within God. God is within you. You are inseparable. You are inseparable. You are not a fragment of God trying to reach wholeness. You are the absolute wholeness of Source pretending to be a fragment. Stop pretending. You are not a drop of the ocean. You are the entire ocean within a drop. This is what omnipotent means, where one aspect, one piece of Source is, all of Source must be there. Source cannot be divided. God cannot be divided. It's omnipotent. God cannot be divided. All right? At all. Walk in the remembrance of who you are. Walk in the sacredness of who you are. You are the temple of the Holy Spirit. You are the temple of the divine. Your words create worlds. Everything that you desire, you're already in alignment with. You already have. It could be nothing less. The only thing that could keep you away from it is you telling a story that you are not that person right now. Stop lying. Refuse to entertain anything but what you desire. Refuse to believe in anything but the promise that Source has placed in your heart. Right? I see you all as perfect, as beautiful, as divine. If you don't feel that way, it's cool, because I see you as that way anyway, so I know it must be true. I know it must be true, okay? But that's the end of this lecture. Hopefully this one helped, right? How to manifest when you don't feel worthy. And I really wanted to attack that believing that you're anything that does not reflect the divine aspects of the Creator is a lie. It's false. It doesn't matter how you feel. You could not be anything less. So we think that we get into this space and we hear feeling is the secret. And we think, oh, feeling meaning some emotion, right? Remember, there's only one emotion. There is only one energy, and that is Source. There's only one energy, that is Source, and that energy flows through you. But because you have an ego, and your ego creates stories, what actually happens, right, is that because your ego creates these stories, when that one emotion, that one energy and motion flows through you, which is Source, all right? If you have a positive story that's in alignment with the God within you, you feel positivity. If you have a story that's not in alignment with the Source within you, you feel negativity, anxiety, whatever the case, whatever you want to label it. There's really only two feelings. There's one power. There's you feel in alignment or you don't. Now, your feelings, keep this in mind, right? Don't get caught up in them. Your feelings are not the cause, they are the effect. They are the effect of a story. They are a tool in your toolbox. They are showing you this is what you've been thinking. This is what you've been believing. This is what you've been holding on to. So when you feel that, examine it. You don't have to go into a deep dungeon, lock yourself up in the cellar and affirm for 30 days until your subconscious is reprogrammed. No, your subconscious accepts everything. You simply have to make the choice right now, right? The beautiful question that we had last session was, how do I change my self-concept? How do I reprogram this subconscious and change my self-concept? When I say that you don't chase, you attract. When I say that, I want to be very clear about what I mean. All right, I'm gonna answer that too, my brother. I want to be very clear on what I mean. When I say you do not chase, you attract, you embody. One way of chasing is thinking that we have to go into this reality and manipulate things. Another version of chasing is me saying, after I reprogram, after I do this work, do this healing, after I get all these things in order in my life, then I can get the thing that I want. What you're really doing is you're casting your desire into the future. The future is just a thought. It's not real. The future, the past, they're just thoughts. We cast our desire in the future and we say, when I get to this undefined, undetermined, mysterious point in time in the future, then I'll be ready. And keep in mind, remember this, the more you search, seek and you will find. The more that you search for things to heal, the more you will find things to heal. The more you search for validation out there, the more you will be presented situations that make you search for validation. The more you search for love out there and fiend for it and beg for it, the more that people, things, circumstances will require you to continue searching. You will always find more. If you do not have it within yourself, the external world cannot give it to you, right? So when I talk about identity, if you want to call it reprogramming, whatever, it is not a process. It is a moment by moment decision. When we talk about becoming an identity, when we talk about conviction, when we talk about decision and faith, keep in mind, it is a singular decision right now. I'll use that example. It is a singular decision right now. I am prosperity and I no longer identify with lack. I am prosperity because when I saw lack in my external situation, I thought that defined me, but I was remembering myself incorrectly. Because sources within me, and this is infinite abundance, this is infinite prosperity, I can't be anything less. Because sources within me, I cannot be anything less than prosperity. I cannot be anything less than prosperity. If I see or believe or think that I am anything less, I am lying to myself. And when I have my consciousness up, now I can continue to go back to that story. It does not matter how I feel, I am prosperity because source is within me. It does not matter how I feel, I am worthy because source is within me. Now I look out in the external circumstances. There was lack, and now I see, oh my God, it might be a little bit more. I judge it. But we're told, do not judge based on appearance, judge righteously, because you couldn't possibly judge. Now, when I step into the knowing of who I am, how do I respond to situations I don't like? How do I do that? I look out at reality and I make this declaration. The situation might not look ideal, but the God within me is perfect, so the situation must be unfolding perfectly. If it is changing, that means it is changing for me. If I see something new, it is unfolding for me. You have to use everything. Declare that everything is the absolute proof that you are the person that you desire to be right now. When I speak of detaching, I'm speaking of detaching from believing that you need to walk out there and label things as good and bad. If it is changing, it is for you. If it's changing, it's for you. To get from where you were to where you want to be, the situation has to change. Any change is getting you closer. You have it in your consciousness. You should be walking, understanding that everything that changes is getting you closer there. You should walk through life with expectation. To expect is to have. Why? Because when I have it in consciousness, I am that I am no matter what. When I have it in consciousness, now I walk with expectation in this reality. The difference between wanting from lack and expecting is a state of consciousness. When I'm expecting and anticipating something to unfold, I have it. When I need it to show up, I have to have this love to feel loved. That is from lack. Two completely different frequencies, two completely different vibrations. One is pretending that you are somebody that you're not, and needing something out there. You don't need shit. You are everything that there is. Do you understand it? Do you ever just look in reality and say, this thing wouldn't exist without me? This situation does not exist without me. I am the creator. So just as easily as I chose this situation, I can choose a different one. But we also have to remember, right? Don't bend the spoon. You can't change that person out there. You can't bend the spoon. That is impossible. Simply remember the truth. Like the little kid on the Matrix said, there is no spoon. Don't try to change that person, that bank account, that boss, that friend, that parent. It's impossible to change anything out there. That is just one version of reality. Simply realize the truth. There is nothing out there. So now by me embodying a different story, telling the new story of who I am, this is why I highly recommend, instead of making your affirmations about that person, make them about you. Who would you be if you were the identity that had what you wanted? Yeah, you can affirm that they're this way, but a better thing is for you to affirm how you are. It's to stay in that knowing of who you are. And when I stay in that knowing as of who I am, the version of this person, the version of that bank account, the version of that situation has to step forward in my reality. This old version of them goes away. You don't want that old version of them anymore. You don't want that old boss. You don't want that old person anymore. Allow them to fade away and be replaced with a different version of them. And you do this by placing your consciousness on you and not them. Forget about them. Well, don't forget about them. I know you want them. I know you want them, right? But make it about you. That's what's keeping a lot of people from getting what they want, is you're making it about them. If everything that you're doing is about them, about that thing out there, instead of about you, because what you realize is that once you change your self-conscious, there's a self-concept in the moment. There's a lot of other things that are going to flow with it, that are going to keep you nice and occupied and having fun in the unfolding to get what you want. Remember who you are. Remember who you are. All right? You see, I know I missed a question. Let me go back. If y'all got any questions, ask. Please ask them. And you know, I truly do appreciate these discussions. I appreciate the questions. I appreciate the pushback. I appreciate the engagement, all of it, right? We're all on this journey together. None of us is greater than the other. We are all on this journey together. Remember that the source within you, that the God within you is not closer to anybody else but you. The source within you is closer than your breath, closer than your thoughts, closer than you are to yourself, knows you better than you know yourself. Before you were born, before you were formed in your mother's womb, I knew you. We're all on this journey together. Right? We're all here to teach each other, to help each other, because you want it all. You deserve it all. You deserve the life you want, the money you want, the relationships you want, the car you want, to live in the place you want. You deserve it all, and you can have it all. So remember who you are. Absolutely. Absolutely, my good brother. So advice on how not to look at somebody as changing them, but choosing another version of them. Sure, for sure. We can talk about that. So I put it like that because when we think of changing something, we try to apply force to the situation. I guess the best way to explain this is understanding the nature of your subconscious mind. If you think about the story of Adam and Eve, the Garden of Eden is a story about the mind. All right, it's a story about birth. Adam and Eve Adam representing your masculine energy, Eve representing your feminine energy, right? And so they descended and they quote unquote bit or ate of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. What this means is you were born into duality. When we come into this world, what actually happens is that we start to judge things, right, wrong, good, bad, this, that, you, me, outside here, heaven, earth. We think everything is separate. This is what it means, right? And so they went out of this garden. But let's actually talk about the metaphysical meaning of this, right? Your subconscious mind, or the Eve, the feminine part of you, right, does not reply well to force, okay? The purpose of your conscious mind, like the same goal that Adam was given the task of naming the animals. What this actually represented is how you have the dominion of looking out in reality, your external circumstances, and saying what they all are. All right? You name all of the things. This is good, this is bad, right? You really shouldn't be doing that, but you should be saying everything is working out for you, right? But you have the power to decree a thing. This is just a symbolic meaning of that. All right? Now, what happened is Adam had a thought. And if we think about this from a very literal way, we'll be like, oh, Eve ran off and did this and yada, yada. The symbolism of Eve being pulled from Adam's rib and not being actually created from outside of him is that everything within Adam is what created Eve. Because it's one being, it's the mind, right? And so now she goes out and carries the task of doing what he already wanted to do, but brings it back to him. All right, brings it back to him, because he ain't denied he ate that shit too, right? So when we think about life like this, when we think that we're going out there and we're trying to change something, right? We're trying to apply force. right? We're trying to force our subconscious to do something. We're trying to use thought transmission and think hard and imagine this person thinking of it, yada, yada. It gives you this illusion. It creates even more of an illusion of separation, that they're out there, they're outside of you. When the truth is that everything is from within you. That person changes because you change, right? It's not a direct reflection of you just speaking different words to them. It is you going within yourself and becoming a new version of you, right? So a practical example is, instead of you trying to say that this person does this now, you affirm that you are the type of person that only receives this type of treatment from everybody that you desire. This is the most practical way I can do it, right? Instead of saying this person does this to me, I am the type of person that only receives this type of treatment from the people that I desire, from the women that I connect with, from the men that I connect with. And now embodying that, you walk in the expectation of receiving that from everybody. And so now this person must change to meet that. A new version of them who is in alignment with your expectations has to step forward. All right? Remember the truth. There is no spoon. There is nothing out there. There's nothing out there for you to change. But by you changing your expectations of what you receive from the world, everything must change. You can think about it. You can make it specific about them, but make it about you, how you are, and make it how this is how I am, which reflects this version of this person. So I would prefer general. Yes, you don't have to do it, but I prefer general just because I want you to have the best life in all aspects. I want you to receive, like as a man, as a woman, right? Especially when we're talking about relationships, I want you to have fulfilling relationships with everyone, with all the women in your life. Then you can have your romantic relationship too. But I want you to change your identity of how you relate to the world in general. Yes, you can do it with that one person, but of course, I'll give you one more example. All right. Let's say that there is an additional person in the manifesting community. Is called a 3P, C3PO, a 3P, right? Instead of you affirming or trying to imagine that person leaving that other person, simply go to the truth of who you are. I am the type of man that women adore. That woman, any woman who loves me, any woman that I care about, would be crazy to entertain anyone but me. Make it about you. Don't put so much focus on everything out there. Make it about you. And as you make it about you now, and that's more general, right? You make it about you, so this becomes your expectation with everybody. Right? This is why I always use this example. I've talked to people and we get into talking about cheating. And one of the things that I'll always say that can strike anybody as a little bit harsh is, if you're cheated on, it's your fault. From a spiritual perspective, it's your fault. Because you thought about it, you identified with it, you entertained it in your mind, you were worried about it, you were digging around trying to find it, and boom, reality proved your expectations. Then oftentimes people will say things like, no, I never expected that they would. It came out the blue. And then we go deeper and I say, okay, well, have you identified, do you identify as someone who has been cheated on? Has it happened to you before? Is that a fear of yours in general? Maybe not with this person, but in general. So yeah, we can do all this work to get this one person, but if I still have a piss poor expectation about women in general, men in general, well then that's gonna come rear its head in my relationship. What good is it for me to think this person's gonna do right or get them to come back or leave this person if still my dominant thought about women or men is that they're like this? So when you're going into this relationship space, you have to be really careful about challenging your generalizations. You got to challenge those generalized beliefs. How do you believe men are in general? If you want a faithful husband, if you want a faithful wife, it would make no sense to walk around thinking all women, all men ain't shit. That expectation is going to bite you. That expectation is going to bite you, right? So when I'm talking about go general, I'm saying it because I want you to have the greatest quality of life in all things, right? If you believe you're the type of person that only attracts women that are faithful to you, only attracts men that are faithful to you, that treat you right, that wouldn't entertain anybody else, they see you as the goddess that you are, you're going to have much more fulfilling relationships than if you have the expectation that, man, these men ain't shit, these women these days, yada, yada. And now you're just hoping and begging and pleading and trying to change this one person. You got a whole bunch of shit underneath, a whole bunch of cracky foundation. It's all about self-concept, right? So we can call it general, we can call it self. When you work on yourself, this is why I believe self-concept is so important tonight. It's a party. Self-concept is so important because the self-concept, what you're saying about yourself, is the core. It's the core of who you are, right? For sure. How you do some things is how you do everything. I love this view too. That's why I'm still here, right? How you do some things is how you do everything, right? You want to have a solid self-concept so you can have a beautiful life experience in all realms, right? All aspects of your life. People just try to change this one person. They still have this shitty self-concept of everybody else. They talk to another person, and because their self-concept is still shitty, while they're talking to this other person, that other person ends up cheating on them too. And now your self-concept takes another hit when it all starts with you. Right? So a lot of this is, we got to do the work in all areas. Facts, bro. That's a great metaphor. It's like cleaning your room and tossing everything under the bed. Tossing everything under the bed. So I'm gonna challenge you on that statement. Does your self-concept have to be perfect to manifest? Are you perfect? Are you perfect? Is the source within you perfect? Is the divinity within you perfect? What does it even mean, right? What does it even mean to have a perfect self-concept? It simply means that right now, I step into the awareness of who I truly am. I tell the truth. The God within me is perfect. I must be perfect. There is a such thing. You are perfect because source is within you. From a human perspective, we think of limitations. From a human perspective, this is why Jesus said, who is worthy? Who is worthy of anything? Who is worthy of anything? From a human perspective, you'll never be worthy. But from the truth of who you are worthy of everything. So does it have to be perfect? You are perfect. Just by saying what you want in the moment, saying you are who you are in the moment you have what you want. The only thing that keeps you from it is the story that you're telling. We have to stop arguing with our limitations. Trying to say, oh, it has to be perfect, it has to be this way, yada, yada. You are perfect because source is within you. You do the self-work to improve yourself, because from a human perspective, of course, we won't be perfect, right? And you do that self-work to improve yourself. However, the source within you is untouched by that work. It's untouched by circumstances. It's untouched by your feelings. It's absolute perfection. So when I declare the truth of who I am in alignment with everything that I want, no matter what. I'm in alignment with everything that I want, no matter what. I am absolutely in perfect alignment. That is the truth of what it is. This is why did Jesus, when he was naming all the aspects of the divine, of the I am awareness, of the source within you, what did he say? I am the truth. What if I don't see the way? I am the way. Your I am awareness is the way. Your I am awareness is the truth. What you declare it to be is the truth. Right? And I refuse to see any of y'all as less than what you are. All right? So even that Aquarius man statement, look, I don't see you as struggling with anybody. I don't see you as tired. You are not tired. You are divinely gifted. You are divinely walking into the relationship that you deserve. Divinely. All right? Drop that old identity. You don't live there anymore. You're not that old identity anymore. All right? We do give ourselves too much work. All right. That's a great point. Let's talk about that. We are programmed to always believe in the illusion of striving and reaching and trying to get other things. All right? We're always under this illusion. From the moment that you were born, your parents said, do this, do that. Do this, do that, and that will make you a good child or a good person in society. Then the school said, do this, do that. This will prove that you have good grades, or this is prove that you're smart. Give them a sticker for being a good reader. We're always programmed to strive. The church says, do this, do that, tithe, and get baptized, and do all these things, and then you will be worthy. And then your job says, do this, do that. Then you'll be worthy of a raise and worthy of a promotion. So we're constantly in this striving, So we come into this space and we hear, I am worthy, and we overcomplicate it. We want to say, oh, it's too complex. It's too complex. Right? And we want to add more steps. Well, do I have to have a perfect self-concept? What is perfect from a human perspective? What is perfect? We're humans. We're going to wake up someday and not feel good. But the source within me is perfect no matter what. So I'll say, you are worthy no matter what. Stop tying your worthiness and your self-concept to a feeling. It's simply your words. It's simply what you say. It is simply what you say. It's not as a man feeleth. It's as a man thinketh in his heart. What I say, what I declare to be the truth, I only attract fulfilling and divine relationships. This is the truth of my being. It's the truth of my reality. We no longer argue for limitations, right? You are perfect right now. Your self-concept is absolutely perfect. Yeah, all that is enough. Just being who you are is enough. Just your inner, just controlling your inner speech is enough. Huh? Once you remove your film, I appreciate y'all for real. I appreciate y'all lifting each other up too, right? Like we truly are all in this together, right? So when we have to be very, very mindful and careful about the story that we're telling, the story that we are telling, right? When you say that something is happening a certain way, that's what it is. When you say that it doesn't look like things are changing, that's what it is. When you finally walk in the truth that I am the change because I have changed and I am reality, reality must change. All right? So, how to wait for things to physically arrive that you know you internally have already, right? Like abundance. You simply know that you already have it. It's not even a matter of waiting, right? It's a matter of expecting and anticipating and looking at every single thing as changing in your life as evidence that you are receiving that abundance right now. All right. It is you becoming the synchronicity, you becoming the sign. All right. And then you make it sound so easy, but I don't know why it's so hard for me. Miss Christine, my goddess, look. It's not difficult for you. Maybe one of the affirmations that you should use is that I easily create the life that I want. All right? And I want to break this down into very practical steps. Number one, understand that your words, your thoughts create reality. Your speech, your inner speech, your external speech create reality. That's number one. Number two, refuse to think against what you want. Don't use feelings as an excuse to tell the story about what you don't want. Don't use what you see in the external world to tell you the story of what you don't want. If you want to go even further, if you have negative feelings, you can use that as evidence that an old version of you is trying to get your attention. And so you say, this is even more proof that everything is working out. If you see something that is not looking ideal, you say, if reality's changing, that means it's all working out for me. It is a simple process. But when we start to bring our logic in and bring logic into spiritual processes, it can seem daunting. It can seem like a large task, but it's not, right? It's the same as running, right? If you get up right now and you start trying to run a marathon, you're going to be tired if you've never run before. But the more you do it, the better you get. Your consciousness is just a state of being. You're from this point forward, you're embodying a new state of being. You're walking in the divinity and the reality of who you really are. You're no longer refusing to play small. You're no longer betraying yourself. You're no longer going against what you want. It's the consciousness to say, this is what I've been doing in the past. This is what I'm going to do now. Right? It's very easy for you. You're powerful. You're much more powerful than you believe, than you're giving yourself credit for. Even the thought that it's hard creates the reality that it is. It's easy for you. It's as easy as walking. It's as easy as breathing. It's who you are. Right. Yeah, you're right. That's a good point as well. It's a great point, right? It can seem hard because our minds can't see how something turn around. I love that emphasis on the word how, right? But that's why we have to understand we can't judge by appearances. Appearances mean nothing. Circumstances mean nothing. We don't understand the way. There are infinite ways that everything can happen. There are infinite ways that everything can happen, right? Infinite ways. Infinite ways. So when we get too caught up in our ego and judging things, right? When we start judging, that's why it's so important to detach from judgment, because when we detach from our judging mind, our egoistic mind, it wants to say, this is how things have happened in the past. This is what I've heard. This is how I've heard it could happen. So this is how it must happen for me. I don't see how it could. And then we start doubting. We start entertaining the opposite possibility, instead of realizing that Source has weapons that you don't know of, ways that you cannot comprehend. One of my favorite books, right? The book of Job, right? When Source finally revealed himself to Job after Job went through the fighting it with his consciousness, Source said, were you there when I created the galaxies? Could you create the galaxies? Could you create the earth? Could you even start? Who are you to say how I should do something? Who are you to say if this is right or wrong? This is the same mentality that we have to take up. Who are we? Who are we to say how it should work out? We only see such a small percentage of reality. We could not judge correctly anyway. We could not judge correctly anyway. All right? Did tell Joe to watch his damn tone too. But it's and when I talk about faith and conviction and knowing, it is simply consciousness. It's not a feeling, it is consciousness. It is the discipline to keep my consciousness up and always be mindful of my story. God is within me. Always be mindful of my story. It's all working out no matter what. No matter how I feel, I'm still worthy. No matter how I feel, I'm still loved. God has ways I don't know of. I walk by faith, not by sight. I judge not by appearance, but I judge righteously. It's keeping our mind right. It's keeping our consciousness up. It does become more natural over time, but that takes time, right? We've spent 20, 30 years doing the same thing, walking through life being unconscious and low of consciousness. And then we come into this space, and I think that's even the cop-out why we speak about like reprogramming the subconscious mind so much, is because we think if I just say a bunch of affirmations and I think this way for a week or 2 weeks, all of a sudden I should naturally start getting the things that I want. When we hear consciousness, a lot of us start to interpret it like this means some kind of intelligence. Like consciousness means higher intelligence. Oh, he's so conscious. What consciousness is just awareness. It's simply awareness, right? So it should, it will get easier over time to keep your awareness up, to keep your awareness heightened. And that way you are evaluating everything, right? Here's the example. Most of us are so unconscious. Most people are so unconscious. Not most of us. Most people are so unconscious that if they drive to work the same routes every day, then they will start getting in the car and going to sleep consciously. They will just wake up in the parking lot. Oh shit, I'm here. Okay, time to get to work. The tasks are so mundane that they just go to sleep while they're doing it, and their mind is just running on all kinds of programming, just reinforcing old beliefs. You can either stay conscious. You can either stay conscious and control your beliefs, control your thoughts, analyze all your expectations, or you can go to sleep and just let the programming run. But whenever we go to sleep, whenever we start going unconscious, we're letting other people create our life. Because those stories that you're telling in your mind when you're unconscious, they're just flowing. It could be stories that you heard. Yeah, sleep as an autopilot. Yeah. Sleep as an autopilot, yeah, for sure. Unless you got a Tesla, right? So the stories that we read, the stories we hear on the news, the stories that our parents or our friends or whatever, your exes told you, those things can run on autopilot if we go to sleep, if we are running on autopilot, if we are running unconscious. So we have to step into our consciousness. And when you are conscious, now you become the author. If you see a situation you don't like, you become the editor. You're also the main character. You're also the director. It's your expectations that are like handing a script to everybody that you see. Here's a script. You get a script. This is my expectation for you. The world, as you're more and more conscious, the world becomes the all-seeing eye, looking at you, waiting for your command. What is your expectation? What is the story? What is your belief about this? What is your dominant thought? What are you holding in your awareness? Okay, yes. So it's important to be conscious. Now, the more that you see the fruits of it, why would you want to go back? If you know that everything that you desire is on the other side of your consciousness, why would you want to go back to being unconscious? Why would you ever want to go back to being unconscious? You don't want that life. Everything attached to that unconscious life is shit you don't like. The same type of men, the same type of women, the same type of money issues. The moment you become conscious, now reality changes. Responsibility is a big one as well. Right? Responsibility is a big one as well. Take full authority of your life. Blessings to you as well. I appreciate that. Thank you. Oh, thank you for that as well. I do I take voice lessons. Perfecting it. No, I'm just playing. But thank you. Yeah, definitely keep that advice in mind, right? No problem at all. Remember, we're all in this together, right? We all face the same challenges. But the reason why I come live so often, I say the same things from different perspectives so many times, is it only takes one time for it to click. And typically that click is just a decision that you make to say, okay, this is it. I'm going to take this, I'm going to apply it, and I'm going to be the proof. I'm going to walk through life as the synchronicity. I'm going to know that because I changed, reality changed. And that's it. Right? But we're all in this together. We're all in this together. We're making the FYP page or the For You page, right? I feel like I'm coming on up in the world. No, but I appreciate that. What other questions y'all have, man? If I missed anything, you can just copy and paste them. You can just copy and paste them and we can get to it. I truly appreciate y'all's engagement. I do believe that these conversations are expansive for all of us. will. I will. I definitely will. I'm gonna start picking a day out of the week and just do pure Q&As for subs, for subscribers. Just do pure and just stay on there. But when I do that, I'll post the times, right? Like I'll do all that, right? Let you come on, get you a little bit of a one-on-one coaching, or ask whatever questions and talk about them in depth. Try to clear out some free spots, or some blank spots, so we can do that. But I would definitely, before I do that, I would definitely start posting like times before I do that. Yeah, I can tell you about it. Yeah, let's talk about playing with wealth energetically. And of course, I'm gonna use this. We were talking about this yesterday, so I'm gonna use the same example that I used yesterday to talk about this. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna use the same example that I was talking about yesterday, all right? Because I think it's powerful. So, energy is energy, right? Now we can wrap up energy in a whole bunch of different things, but let's talk about energy. Energy cannot be destroyed; it can only be transferred. It can be transmuted, right? It can be redirected. All these things. So, think of money like this, all right? Money is prosperity. All right. First of all, have you ever known someone, or have you been the type of person that's had an idea and said, oh, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to say this? And then you say, nah, I'm not going to do that. And then you look out in reality and somebody else has done it. Somebody has, quote unquote, stole your idea. You say, damn, I was going to do that, but it didn't happen. Why is that the case, right? Because our desires, the energy that flows to us, right? Our mental is bad, brother. All right. Our mental is, there's only one mind. This is why monks speak like this. They won't say, I have to eat. I'm finna go feed myself. They'll say one must feed the body. It's the acknowledgement that there is one mind. Now, when we talk about ideas, when we talk about prosperity, what we have to realize is that ideas and prosperity flow through you because somebody has to receive them. Somebody on the external world or outside of you is gonna receive them. All right. So it's not just a denial of yourself, keeping yourself away from prosperity, when you run away from ideas and you say, what if people judge me if I post this? What if people talk shit about me? What if nobody watches? Right? It's not that you are denying yourself. You're denying source, the opportunity to flow through you, and you're denying other people from getting their blessings from you. Now, what's going to happen to that prosperity? There's no lack of prosperity. There's no lack of energy. This is infinite intelligence, infinite energy you're talking about, right? So this energy, if it can't flow through you, guess what? It's going to flow through somebody else. This is why you'll see something and be like, oh, that was my idea. No, it wasn't. It was a divine idea that you had the opportunity to take action on. Now let's talk about money specifically. If you have $10 and you're feeling generous, and you see somebody that's homeless and you want to help, you're going to give them $10. Let's say you give them $10. Is that the end of that flow of money? Of course not. Of course it's not the end of that flow of money. You're going to give it to that person you just brightened up their day. They go buy something and they give it to the cashier. Then it gets cashed out and it goes to some woman who needs to feed her family. And that $10 allows her to buy something for her children that day. And then it goes somewhere else. And somebody has the interview and they use that 10, they add it on to what they have. They buy a nice tie. They get the job that allows them to feed their family this holiday. And so your money keeps on turning, keeps on moving. Now, let's think about this from an energetic, allowing it to flow through you energetically. When you spend money, do you realize that by giving that money, you are advancing the kingdom in totality? You are allowing the prosperity of source to flow, which therefore allows you to receive more prosperity? Or do you tell the story of shit, I kind of need this shit? All right, that's number one. Number two, Do you use your money to try to bribe the divine? I need money. So if God sees me, if Source sees me, if infinite intelligence, the universe sees me give this person money, hopefully, you'll give me more money. You can't bribe, right? Source will not be mocked. God will not be mocked. What we have to realize, you give because you have a feeling to give, because that is simply the prosperity of Source running through you. That is independent from what you receive. You receive infinitely because the Source within you is infinite abundance and it provides for you infinitely. You don't need to bribe Source. You can't bribe Source. You can't pretend to be something. Source is closer to you than you are to you. It is getting to the knowledge that when I spend, it's always circulating. It's always helping. Your money is still out there circulating right now. Let's give another example that's not with money. This is the same example I always give, the drive-through example. And after today, I'm going to start doing a different example. Some of y'all a lot of y'all probably heard this all over again. You're going through a drive-through, you're having a bad morning, going to work, and the cashier spills coffee on you. Right? Spills coffee on you. She was up all night studying for an exam because she's trying to get into some school. She's just working because she got to pay the bills. Closer than your jugular vein. This is inconceivable of how close it is from our human perspective. Right? So anyways, you're going through this drive-through, cashier spills something on you. You snap on it. You've been already having a bad day. You're late to work, your first meeting, even though it doesn't really matter in the long term. You're so stressed out. And so you use that as what? You use your feeling as an excuse to be a shitty person. The same way that we come into this reality creation space and we try to use our feelings to what? Talk about the life we don't deserve, right? Keep in mind your feelings are deceitful. The heart is deceitful. Who can know it? Right? So let's see here. So let's say that they spill coffee on you, snap, and now all of a sudden they turn to their coworker and they say something rude, and their coworker's pissed off. All right, the coworker's now pissed off. Okay? The coworker's now pissed off. Or you drive off and the next person in the car, it's them and their child. And their child's jumping around in the back seat, and now that cashier is short with that parent, and that parent turns around and they snap on their kid. Then their kid goes to school and they get in a fight, or they're just rude to their teacher. Your energy, your negative energy transfers and is impacting all kinds of people. Now, even if you go back through the drive-thru and you apologize to the cashier, the energy's already spread, right? So yes, you apologize for the one person, but your energy can't be destroyed. So how far has some of your negativity spread? How far has it spread? Now let's give the opposite example. Let's say she spills coffee on you, but you decide to take a deep breath. You say, oh, it's no problem. And then you give her a compliment. I love your hair, by the way. Or I love your makeup, or whatever the case may be. You decide to give a compliment. And all of a sudden she said, you know what? There are good people in the world. She's been up all night studying, trying to improve her life. Just working the job she has to work. Then you pull off and the next customer comes. Then she gives them a compliment. And that parent calms down, and then they have a conversation with their child, and they say, you know what? This is why you always need to treat people right. What have you sparked? You've sparked the chain reaction. Then that child goes to their teacher, and let's say they write their teacher a note about how they're grateful for their teacher because their parent had a conversation with them. And then their teacher is reminded about why they got into this profession. Thank God that I'm so grateful that I got in this profession. These are the moments that make it worth it. And then they go home and they tell their spouse. And they have a good night together. Because they've been having a rough time financially. And you get in that, and that spark started with you, with one decision. How far does your energy travel? How far does your energy travel? And this is with all things, right? Not just with compliments or negativity, with money. With money. It's okay to let go of your money. It's okay to know that you are abundance, that the same power that flows to you, flows through you, right, is the same power that flows through that dollar. And as you spend it, you are increasing your wealth and increasing the wealth of others. You are, oh my God, you're helping so many people with your divine ads. With your divine ads, I see you, right? I see you. So we talk about wealth consciousness. I want you to just think about it in terms of energy. No longer be scared to spend. I ain't saying go broke, right? Like I said, you can't bribe source, but recognize, understand that your energy is always flowing. It's always helping. You have what you have. You have what you have because source has provided that to you, not only to help yourself, but to help others if you feel called towards it, right? You will never have less than you need. Never. Right? If you don't feel the spirit to give, then don't. Like I said, right? You're not doing you don't do it to get anything back. If you have the spirit to give more, then give more. But source is always going to provide me more than I need. A source is always going to provide you more than you need when you know that you are prosperity. So there can be no lack. It's an illusion to even think that there is lack. One of the coolest techniques that I heard a woman do was, I don't even remember her name. Not anybody that I talked to. It was like a podcast that I was watching. I think it was with, what's his name? He does a lot of big podcasts. I can't remember his name either. He's really popular, dude. She said anytime she paid a bill, what she did to get herself in the mindset of abundance is whatever she could pay, she would pay it. But instead of believing or thinking about it as if she's paying the bill, she would say, my bill is paid off. Now I'm just donating this money to the company through her paying of it, whatever she could pay. And she said, now I imagine how that money is going to help somebody have a nice Christmas gift, or it's going to allow them to take their partner out on a nice evening. And so she put herself in wealth consciousness where you have so much that you can just give to everybody. You can just give to everybody, all right? And I think that's a great idea. I think that's a great idea. A Benjamin Franklin disrespectful. That's cold. Yeah. Why your old way of being tries so hard to show up after the initial click? Because it's all energy. All right, so think about it like this. There are spiritual and physical ties to everything, okay? So the moment, let's say that right now I'm in a state of lack. I see lack, I'm pretending to be lack, just pretending to be lack, because you're not really lack, you could never be. You've been pretending for so long, you think that's who you are, and because you've been putting off this energy, you have a new version of you created. Keep in mind, you have a new version of you that's created all the time. If you meet somebody and you fall in love and you want to be with them for the rest of your life, when y'all break up, you're not only mourning them, you're mourning the version of you that saw the rest of your life together, okay? So you always are creating these versions of you. You have a version of you at the old job that you had to kill off, all right? But now you have this version of you that's tied to lack. It identifies as lack. It identifies with lack. This is how it survives. You also have entities. So when you speak lack, when you embody lack, when you pretend to be something that you're not, where you don't remind myself, oh, I'm source. No matter what I feel, I am source. I am infinite prosperity. When you don't remind yourself that, now you have like these quote unquote spiritual entities. Keep in mind, all of this is within you. The universe is within you. I'm not talking about these things, these monsters outside of you. They are within you, right? So these entities are attached to your lack. This old version of you is attached to your lack. So now you step in prosperity. What happens is they lived off of that energy. So when you pull that energy away, they start to starve. They start to starve. They start to say, whoa, hold up. We need more of that, which is actually a beautiful thing if you think about this. Because that urge to go back to lack, seeing those things in your reality triggering you, it's just old versions of you. It's different entities trying to pull your energy, trying to give them energy so they can live. All it means is the old version of you is dying. An old version of you is dying. And this new version of you is rising. It's rising in energy. That is beautiful. That is poetic. That is absolutely poetic. Right? Appreciate you. All right. That's all it means. It's not a bad thing. It's not that these entities or these old versions of you are doing anything to hurt you. They don't want to hurt you. They just don't want to pass away. And that's fine. So you don't have to condemn your feelings. You don't have to run away from it. You simply acknowledge it for what it is. This is evidence this is why I say it is all evidence that everything is working out for you. All of it. Okay? And when you're in there, it just means energetically, you've pretended to be somebody that you're not too long. Now, I'm not saying to sit down and if you're in debt, not to start taking at least some practical steps to get out of it. Right? I'm not a financial expert by any means, but I know when I was facing all these things, when I was homeless, or I'll tell you straight up, the last time that I was just in a tough financial situation, everything was going down. I needed a large sum of money, or else I was going to be out of luck on the street, right? And once I embodied that I had it, and I refused to think any other way, no matter how I felt, no matter what I saw, miraculously I was given exactly what I needed. Miraculously, in a way that I still cannot even explain. Everything was just paid off. Don't know where the money came from. Couldn't tell you to this day. I only know that it was source. I only know that it was the divine. And so, yes, I'll give practical reasons, but when I say go to the end, I mean go to the end. When we talk about debt and we continue to, but what if I'm in this, but what if I'm in that? Everything after but is bullshit. Like I keep saying, right? You are who you say you are. You are abundant. Right now, if you embody that you are out of debt, you will make a path to get out of it. But the more that we continue to bring it back, but this, but that, but what about this, but what about this situation, and argue and cling and attach to our limitations, well, then we're continuously creating reality. But what if the situation looks like this? But what if the third party does this? But what if I don't feel perfect? But what if I don't feel, all these it's just excuses. You are who you want to be right now. We have to stop the excuses or the clinging to somebody that you're not. Stop pretending to be somebody that you're not. Yeah, it feels real. It's a real experience. But it's a temporary moment that is tied to a different version of you that doesn't exist anymore. Embody who you are. The source within you could never be in debt, could never be in lack. And once we cling to that, right, when you cling to the end, infinite ways appear. When you cling to the end, it doesn't matter what you do. Every path is the way. I am the way. What does that mean? I am the way. Your I am awareness. Me saying that I am prosperity. I am the way. I make a way out of no way. When I say that I am prosperity, because source is within me, so I could be nothing less. And I still look around and say, but what if I'm in debt? But what if I don't see the way out? But what if I don't know how this person is going to come back to me? It doesn't matter what you think. I am the way. Your I am awareness is the way. What you say you are is the way. Your speech is the way. You declaring who you truly are, that is the way. What if it doesn't feel real? I am the truth. I am the truth. What you say is the truth. I am the truth. What if I don't see a way? I am the light. I am the way that makes a way out of no way. Let's simplify this. When I say I am prosperity, me saying I am prosperity is the way for my prosperity. Me saying I am divine, that is the way for me to experience the divine light, the divine life. My speech, my embodiment is the way. You don't have to see the way. Your word is the way. You don't have to see how it will unfold. You are the whole. You are the how. Oh, my bad. You are the whole, whatever that means. You are the how. You are the how it will unfold. Huh? You are the how it will unfold. You are the way, you are the truth. Huh? You are all that there is. You make a way out of no way. Your words, your declaration, thou shalt decree a thing and it shall be. It doesn't say thou shalt decree a thing unless you see a third party. You have whatever you ask, whatsoever you ask, my Father, the Father in my name, I am, will be given to you. Whatever you ask. It doesn't say unless the situation looks like this, unless you see this out there, unless this is happening, unless this is unfolding. We're the ones who start trying to make it, well, what about this? What about this? What about that? What about this? Whatever you say after the I am prosperity, I am this, does not matter. That is the way. If you don't see a way, say who you are. I am prosperity. I am infinite prosperity. I am infinite abundance. You are the way. We have to, it's, I know I get passionate, right? Your boy gets passionate. I say these things in different ways, right? I say these things in different ways because once it clicks, it clicks. And once it clicks, you need nothing else. You don't need anybody to save you. I am the way. You are the way. What you declare yourself to be is the way. Doesn't matter what you feel. I am that I am no matter what. I am prosperity no matter what. It doesn't matter how I feel. I am the truth. Doesn't matter if I think it's true or not, or if I feel like I'm gaslighting myself. I am the truth. What I say is the truth. My I am awareness is the truth. These are the aspects of the divine. When Moses said, what should I call you? And Source said, I am that I am. That was a blank check. That was a blank check from Source. I am that I am. I am whatever you say I am. I am whatever you invoke me to be in your life. He didn't give a name. He didn't give a straight name. He said, I am that I am. That's what you should call me. You name it. It's on you. I am prosperity. So my I am is the way. How are you going to get prosperity? How is it going to unfold? Your I am is the way. Just saying I am prosperity, that is the way it's going to unfold because you say it. What if I don't believe it? It is the truth because I am is the truth. I am the truth. It's true because you said it. I don't see a way out of this situation. What if my situation is like this? What if it's terrible? I am the light. I don't care what kind of darkness that you are in. The I am is the light. So hopefully that resonates in a different way, right? Because when we can't argue with the number one thing when we're stepping in this space is that old version of us that wants to think that, we're special in a negative way. We don't identify with the special that we really are. You are sources within you that makes you extremely special. Makes you absolutely perfect. We don't want to identify with that special. We want to think our negative situation is special. Well, what about this? What about that? Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Circumstances don't matter. Judge not by appearance, but judge righteously. I make a way out of no way. I make a way out of no way. I made this whole universe out of nothing. The source within you, do you understand that? What you are standing in was once nothingness. Can you fathom that? Everything that is here was made out of nothing. Wherever you are in your life, at least you have something. If all of this was created out of nothing, surely you can get a couple thousand, couple 10,000. Surely you can get one person that you love. Surely. I am the way, I am the truth, I am the light, right? Oops. Yeah, let me check that. My bad, Instagram. I try to put on, if y'all want to chat, get on the YouTube or get on the TikTok. But I always flow by and I see people on here. But yeah, man, it's the motivation behind your giving. It's the knowing of who you are, right? When you know who you are, what you do does not really matter. And I say really because some people are gonna say, "What you mean? It doesn't matter. I can do whatever." Come on now, you know what I mean. I don't mean just go do some heathen shit, right? What I'm saying is the path illuminates because you stand in the knowing of who you are. And now every path must lead there. Everything that you do leads you down the path of getting what you want. All right. We're only judging things as right and wrong and negative and positive and too big to get out of because we're not really embodying the truth of who we are. But when you stand in that truth and you know that everything is working out for you and you already have this thing by right of consciousness, right? The same way that if you bought a new car today, if you had a new car today, in the last 6 months you went through hell, getting rejected by banks, rejected by loans, not knowing if you're going to come up with the money, having to Uber everywhere, walking places, right? Before you got the car, you might have been judging things as right or wrong. But the moment you got there, you were like, damn it was all working out. I'm so grateful I got here. Reverse the process. We just judge things and say, what if I'm in this? What if this has happened? What if I look out? We just do that because we're not really living in the end. The way for you to really determine, am I living in the end? You wouldn't be entertaining that this story is not working out right for you if you were. The situation is always unfolding perfectly. You already have what you want. The source within you makes a way out of no way. Stop arguing for your limitations. All right. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. All right. You already have what you want. Stop arguing for your limitations. Stop clinging to your limitations. Thinking that you're negatively special when you are absolutely divinely, positively special. All right. What else y'all want to talk about? It's almost 9 o'clock. Let me see what I'm gonna do tonight. I wonder, might go for a bike ride. I know y'all didn't run out of questions already. I know for sure. All right. If that is it, I'm gonna do. I appreciate you as well. I appreciate you for bringing it up. I appreciate you for bringing it up. Right, we're all in this together. All right, thank you. Here we go. Here come the questions. I see that. How do you let go for real? My bad. I had to release some thoughts about that. So let me try to say this in a different way. What is letting go? All right. How do we define that, right? How do we really let go? How do you know when you let it go? You know when you let it go because you say so. Right? You are the one who dictates reality. Why you believe that something is divine timing is because you say it's divine timing. Oh my God, it's all divine timing. Why you believe it's a synchronicity is because you say it's a synchronicity. You identified it as such. You are the divine in the divine timing. Thou shalt decree a thing, and it shall be. You would have no power over me if not given to you from above. What do these statements mean? These statements mean no matter what I see, no matter what I see, no matter what I see out there, all right? What am I telling the story of? Am I telling the story that, oh, I'm still clinging to this? Or no matter how I respond initially, am I looking at it and saying, I'm so grateful I didn't respond to that the same way, because I'm going to catch myself and I'm conscious enough now to tell a different story about it. The only reason that we believe we haven't let go is because we're still telling the story that we haven't let go. The only reason we think we're still clinging to things is because we're telling the story that we're still clinging to things. We think we're still controlled by things. The only thing that you have to say is no. The only thing that you have to say is, nah, I don't identify with this anymore. No, I let go of this. What if I don't feel like I let go of it? It doesn't matter what you feel. It doesn't matter what you feel, right? It is what you say. As a man thinketh, so is he. Not as a man feeleth. As you think, so are you, right? So yes, I'm going to still go through life, right? I'm not saying that you're going to go through life like a cyborg, like a robot with no emotions. You're going to go through life and certain things will still trigger you. But how do you respond? What is the story that you tell? Do you say, oh no, I released this. I no longer want to judge this as negative. It's all unfolding perfectly. Or do you believe that you're supposed to walk through life with no emotions? Do you understand that you're human? You are a human, right? It is all us. Why aren't the affirmations working? Because you haven't made up your mind that they work. Why doesn't the visualization work? Because you haven't made up your mind that it works. You're putting your power in something outside of you. You went from believing that there is a God in the sky to being like, oh no, God is within me, to now you think that there's power in the affirmations outside of you. You are the power. The source is within you. You are the one. It is your speech that dictates everything. So that's what I would clearly say, right? That's how I would clearly push this. When we think that we're going to walk through life and just be unfazed by everything, I don't feel any kind of emotions about things I don't like. When I say let go and don't judge, I'm saying be so conscious that you don't allow your feelings to give you an opportunity or to give you an excuse to tell the wrong story. Yes, you can feel bad. Yes, your nervous system can be going crazy. Yes, you can feel the emotion of doubt. But what story do you tell? Though I see doubt or though I feel doubt, no matter what the situation looks like, it must be unfolding perfectly because I am? Or do you just spiral out of control and you catch yourself for 20 minutes, for 40 minutes telling the story of all the shit you don't want? Who are you, right? So that is what is important. Good evening, good evening. That is what is important. We have to know who we are. You're the one who determines if you've let go or not. Letting go is simply a state of consciousness. When we say letting go is a decision. Conviction is a decision. Faith is a decision. They're all stories. They're all words in your mind. What is faith? What is belief? What is letting go? They're words, stories in your mind. We attach these things to feelings. We're so feeling obsessed. We're so feeling oriented that we put so much, we put so much meaning into our feelings when your feelings are just the effects. We're like, oh, letting go must be a feeling. If I let go, I must not feel anything. Or we'll say conviction or faith must be a feeling. If I'm walking in true faith or conviction, I must not feel nervous. No, give yourself the ability to be a human. You didn't come down here to suppress everything. It is the words that you're telling, not the feelings that you're feeling. You have let go because you say you've let go. You've let go because you say you have. You let go because you're no longer allowing yourself to spiral with stories of judgment. You're saying that you're maintaining the singular story that you want to experience. That is faith. That is belief. I don't entertain anything opposite than what I want. What if I don't believe it? I am the truth, right? It doesn't say that your feelings are the truth. What you feel is the truth. It says, I am the truth. Whatever you say after I am is the truth because you said so. All right? I am the truth. Your I am awareness. What you say you are is the truth. It doesn't say what you believe is the truth. Your belief is the truth. I am the truth. Such a powerful invoking, right? I am is such a powerful statement to make. So powerful. I am. I am. It's powerful. Right? It can be nothing but rich, right? We can be nothing but rich. We no longer pretend to be anything that we're not. We no longer pretend to be anything that we're not. That's a good question. How do you know you're spiritually awakened? So it's a matter of perspective. So that's such a matter of opinion, right? I used to talk about things like that. Let me give my honest opinion. What is being spiritually awakened but a perspective? If we polled 1,000,000 people on their beliefs, we could get 1,000,000 different answers. What makes me believe that somebody's more awakened versus more asleep? What makes them think I am more awakened or sleep? It's typically based on my own perspective of reality. If there's 8 billion people, we all live in 8 billion realities. I try not to judge other people's belief. I'm very passionate about mine because this is my truth. I'm very passionate about mine, but because this is my truth. But if this isn't your truth, I'm not going to force feed it to you. All right. There are people that will benefit from hearing what I'm saying. Right. The same way that I can still benefit from hearing people speak about different beliefs, different spiritual beliefs, hell, even different religious beliefs. So, I guess if I had to really say what would make somebody spiritually awakened, if you've gotten to a point where whether you were born into a certain religion or a certain perspective, whether you were born into it or not, you have come into the understanding that whatever you believe, whatever you see, it works for you. If you've just been force-fed a bunch of shit, you never questioned it, maybe that's what means you're not awake, right? But whatever empowers you, whatever, because I can give my perspective, right? I believe if you don't understand that you are our source, I could say from my perspective, I don't believe that you're awake. But what does it really mean to be spiritually awakened? I mean, that's all a matter of individual perspective. Right? But I will say, if I have to back off and I try not, and if I'm trying not to be judgmental, I would say, if you've gotten to the point where wherever you were born, whatever you were born in, even if you still maintain those beliefs, if you've done enough work to verify those beliefs yourself, to you, right? It's something that you feel the conviction about because you have went on your own journey to verify it. Well, shit, that's just woke enough. Woke enough for me should be woke enough for you. All right. Because we got to understand, man, at the core of it, all this spiritual shit at the core is saying a lot of the same shit. Now, we can talk about different stories, right? We can talk about, not even stories. We can talk about different things. We can get into different cosmic entities. We can talk about the Anunnaki. We can talk about the influence that they have. We can talk about melanin and its properties, neuromelanin. We can talk about a whole bunch of different things. However, when I get to the core of things and I start talking about the you are source, you are God, you are divine, right? Why I stick to that is because while I am an avid student of a lot of spiritual concepts and a lot of things, I would prefer to speak about something that is more helpful. That is more helpful in my perspective. Not saying those other things aren't, but empower people to take full control of their life. I mean, hey, that's what gets me going. How I get into it? So I was born into the Catholic Church, right? Born into the Catholic Church, and I had a lot of questions about the Catholic Church for a while. Then I went on a path where I didn't believe in God. Then I went back into kind of the Catholic faith, and I started to read the Bible. Then I started to explore different spiritual texts, and then I just started to honestly, my awakening was more forced. I had certain life experiences. I had lost a woman I was dating, and then also I was didn't know what I was doing with my life. I was in and out of homes, places to live, and I was really forced to awaken. I was trying to find something that was solid, that could help me, because I didn't want to feel alone. Didn't want to feel like I was in this life for myself. So I went down the spiritual path. Had a lot of mystical experiences. First, I had a lot of them with plant medicine. So, well, the first mystical experience I had was not with plant medicine. It was I was in a house fire in like 2014, I think. And I was in the hospital for a while. While I was in the hospital, I was in the hyperbaric chamber. If you don't know, it's a chamber they put you in. It just pumps oxygen. You get pure oxygen, helps you to heal faster, right? And in that time, that was the first time that I really actively did stuff like retention. I wasn't trying to do it, but I was always in the hospital. So for a while, I wasn't eating a lot. I was retaining. I was getting pumped with oxygen. I just was sitting around. I didn't talk to anybody in that time. I had a couple women that I was talking to. I cut them off completely. I just dealt with it by myself. And I started to I had one really profound mystical experience where I saw kind of the universe being born. At the time, I had no idea what it meant. It was absolutely meaningless to me. It was just so... it was so profound. It was so much detail that I didn't know. Yep, seed retention. Yes, sir. It was so profound that I didn't know what was going on. It took me a while, but that's what got me into astrology, because in the process of watching things unfold, I saw the perfect placement of how everything was put, and it was with so much detail that I couldn't take it. I literally wanted to just get out of there, but I couldn't, right? And so at the end of this experience, I had an experience where I saw myself being born. Like, I saw the universe unraveling and civilizations rising. And I felt like I was in this for so long. And at the end of it, I experienced my mother giving me birth. Like, literally seeing myself being born. I saw my parents in the hospital room, and saw how much they cared about me. And then I witnessed myself growing up and then giving birth to myself. I got pregnant and gave birth to myself. Crazy experience. And when I looked at myself, I fell in love with myself for the first time. So it took me a long time to really process this. And that's just me putting it in human language. It's just me trying to put it in human language. But that led me down a path of just seeking knowledge. Ended up meeting a dude while I was in the hospital. He told me if I got a certificate, he would give me in tech. So I got my CCNA at the time, got into to networking, and then I got into program management, into architecture, and I was in there I was in tech for like 7 years. Okay. And then in the midst of that, really, I spent like a year or two just simply focusing on getting knowledge, like reading everything I could. I'm talking about all my free time. Or like, if I wasn't working, I was reading, shoving knowledge within myself. But I'll tell you, in that time, things were clicking, and I thought that I knew what I was talking about. It wasn't until I stopped chasing. I stopped trying to take trips every couple of weeks. It wasn't until then that things started to click, right? And the less that I tried, it was like the more things came. And that's when I started to really get into manifestation. And I was in some rough situations before then that I got out of through manifestation. And then I really started to get into understanding who I was. And how do I make this a lifestyle instead of just one big thing, right? Because really it's that manifesting saved my life. But yeah, that's a little bit of the journey, right? It was more desperation. I got into manifestation because I was just, if I was evicted, I don't know what I would have done. And so I had to get that money. So I refused to entertain the possibility of not getting it. Refused to. And it happened magically. And my spirituality was developed through the fire, first and foremost, and then through losing a woman that I was with, right? Her passing away. That flipped another switch. And that was when I started having an experience where I was like seeing her and kind of got confirmation that was another catalyst moment in my life. And shit, everything just continues to unfold, right? Continues to unfold. Everything continues to unfold. So I guess the journey was straightforward, but it took a long time. Good sources to read. I would say make your own affirmations. Why I do my affirmations the way I do and why they feel so meaningful to me, and when I say them, I start getting hyped, is because I put time into them. When you put time into them, now you feel them differently. They become more of a part of you. So use your affirmations like weapons, right? If you're feeling lack, then be able to speak your affirmations. These are your weapons, your word. Life and death is in the power of the tongue, right? Your tongue is the sword. Your tongue is your weapon. Your perspective is your weapon. So why not load up your gun? Why not load up your weaponry, right? So create some affirmations. Hold on to those affirmations. And when you're in situations where you're tempted to think negatively, you speak them. What if you don't believe them? Doesn't matter, because you say them. They are the truth. I am the truth. Whatever I say with I am is the truth, right? Whatever I say is the truth. What if I don't know how to get there? I am the way. Whatever you say, that is the way. Your word is the way. Yeah, that's such a profound statement that it can't be understated. That's why I keep repeating it. I am the way. I am the way. Me saying I am prosperity, that is the way to my prosperity. Me saying I am prosperity, that is I am the truth. That is the truth. Because I say I am prosperity, that is the truth. So when we understand who we are, we understand what these words mean, what invoking the name of the Creator means. Boom. Now these affirmations aren't just empty words. They're power. They're creative. They're prophecy. You're the prophet. These scriptures these prophets you read in scripture, these are just representations of aspects of you. You are the prophet. You are standing in prophecy right now. I like all affirmations, whatever you want to do. I feel all of them. No, you don't have to feel happy to manifest. Your feelings are just emotions, right? Feelings are just emotions. It doesn't say as a man feeleth, it says as a man thinketh. Right? And it's not that I saw a ghost, it was more so I saw her, right? So when we understand the nature, this is what kind of taught me about the nature of death, right? It's that right now, every life that you are living, past, future, whatever, is all happening right now. Okay, your past, your future is all happening right now. So you also have a higher self, and that higher self, just think about it like this. If right now you can only experience reality 0.001% of the time, Your higher self is the 100%. It's the 99.99 and it's the 0.001% of you. You are much more divine. You are much more soul, spirit than human. You are just a small fraction human. Now, what happens when you pass is that your higher self is still right, connected to every single version of you. This is why you can lose a parent, you can lose a spouse, lose a child, and still dream about them, still envision them, and they can still show up and give you information, give you help on what you're going through right now. Why? How? If they're in another life, how? It's because your higher self is still connected to everybody that you connect with in every single reality. It's still there to guide and help everybody. Your energy does not leave. It can't be destroyed, which is a very profound truth. So you have access to everybody. There is no death. This is what it means when it says there is no death. If you remember the story of Lazarus, the metaphysical meaning of that story is that Jesus showed up, representing your I am awareness, showed up 4 days after Lazarus died. And the disciples were gathered around and they were looking at Jesus and they said, bruh, if only you had came earlier, a day earlier, he would have survived. And this is that famous scripture, Jesus wept. Jesus wept, right? He cried. Why do y'all think? Why do you believe that I am limited to your doctrine, to what you think happens? We think that we know what happens after death, right? We think that we know it's instant reincarnation and that person is gone. No. Yeah, it's instant reincarnation, but they're living those lives now. There's no death. Your soul knows no death. You can have anything that you could ever imagine. The only thing you can never imagine is non-existence. You can never imagine not existing because your soul does not know of it. It makes no sense to your soul. All right? So every single version of you is happening right now. Your soul is still connected to everybody. You can still give information to everybody long after you have transitioned from this world. You're still here. And you can still receive information from anybody you've connected with in this world. They're all still here. There is no death, right? But back to the story of Lazarus. And then Jesus, the significance of him raising Lazarus up on the 4th day is because of the spiritual significance that after 3 days, they thought that the soul left the body after 3 days. This is Jesus showing you, your I am awareness showing you there is no death. There is no loss in the kingdom. It's an illusion, right? So we see that death was conquered in that scripture long before the proverbial conquering of it in the resurrection of your I am awareness, right? It was conquered long before then, right? Death is an illusion. That's what that means spiritually. No, you can write, you can speak, you can affirm, you can dance, you can write a song to yourself, you can write a letter to yourself, you can do Post-it notes and you can do whatever you want. You are the operant power. The techniques have no power. You have the power. So when you're doing these techniques and you're doing them like they have the power, you're making a false idol out of that technique. Right? They're only working because you do it. You could do whatever you want. You could do a rain dance. If you believe that you have a power, it works. What is the power in people that believe that they're doing spells, right? Like they sit around. All right, here we go. Matter of fact, I'm glad you brought that up. Let's use this as an example. Let's talk about cooking. If you've ever had a wonderful, beautiful grandmother that cooked for you, how come your grandma's food tastes better than when you cook it? You could do the same recipe, her shit gonna taste better. When your mother makes you a peanut butter jelly sandwich, it just tastes better. You can make it the same way. You could copy her. You could watch her spread the peanut butter just like she does. Why does it taste better? Why does it taste better? Because cooking is a spell. All right, let me break this down to you. Cooking is a spell, okay? When we think of somebody casting a spell, what do we think of? We think of them combining different elements, a little bit of dust, a little bit of spice, a fire, saying spells, right? Saying words over it. But we understand that thou shalt decree a thing and it shall be. It is the word. It is the intention that is powerful. So it's not that the actual spell, the cutting of the ribbon and it's not that those things are powerful. They're just a vehicle for your intention. What they do is they reinforce the subconscious, which is where the power is. They simply make an impression on you that you are doing something by dancing around this fire. All right? Now, this is the same way that you cook. When you cook, what are you doing? You're cutting up meat, cutting up pasta, adding spices. And what is the important intention that your mother and your grandmother adds for it? The love that they have for you. The love in feeding you. Which transforms, which transmutes that meal. It transmutes that meal. Right? This is why it tastes better, because of the love they have for you. This is even why, on a spiritual level, you should be more aware of who's cooking your food. You should be more aware of who is cooking your food. All right? But this is the spell. So whatever you're doing, it's not that that thing is powerful, it's that you're powerful. That's all I say. I say that as an example to show you how powerful you are. You don't need to do any techniques. You're the power. You can just simply say the word. Lord, I'm not worthy to receive you, but only say the word. I am. I am. You are the power. You are the power. You are the power. Facts, man. Facts. It just tastes better with somebody that loves you cooks for you. Tell me it don't taste better. It tastes so much better. But yeah. Oh, let me check. Of course I don't mind if you use. That's what they're for. That is what they're for you to use them. You can use whatever affirmations. That is what they're for. I'm not hoarding them. I'm not hoarding them. If you like them, you can use them. If you want to remix them, do it. Do your thing, right? That's why all these documents are on YouTube. You can take them. You can do whatever you want with them. And I'm in Dallas, good old Dallas. How to change the feeling of unworthiness. Unworthiness is a lie. All right. So it goes back to what we were saying. All right. Matter of fact, I'm gonna read these first two paragraphs, and then I'll explain this. Okay. Unworthiness. Unworthiness is pretending to be somebody that you're not. All right. Hear this. You keep trying to become what you already are, twisting yourself into shapes that prove nothing but you're forgetting. You beg for worth, right? You beg for worth. You say that you feel unworthy, not knowing that the breath in your lungs is already holy, already authorized. God did not plant himself in you to tease you with potential. He came to awaken himself through you. Not 1 ounce of striving can improve on what was already perfect before time began. Hear that. Not 1 ounce of striving can improve on what was already perfect before time began. You do not need to earn your dream. You do not need to become enough. You do not need to become worthy. You can't. You already are. How can you be something that you were born with? Worthiness is more of a right to you than your name. It is more attached to you than your name. You are worthy because God is within you. What if you don't feel worthy? Worthiness is not a feeling. It's who you are. What if you feel worthy? You're still just as worthy. What if you don't feel worthy? You're still just as worthy. Worthiness is a statement. It is a remembrance and not a feeling. Okay? This is where so many go wrong. We get into this space and we believe that worthiness is a feeling. Love is a feeling. No. These are remembrances of who you are. You were born worthy. You were born as love, okay? So you do not need to earn your dream. You do not need to become enough. You only need to what? Remember. What do I have to do? What do I have to feel? These are always the wrong questions. The right question is, what do I have to remember that I already am? Remember, the gold does not apologize for being gold. It already is. The flame does not question if it is fire. It already is. It simply remembers it is. Why should you? The divine does not dwell in you for no reason. And if you are willing to walk like the dream is already yours, then it is, because you are not trying to become it. You are finally remembering you already were. How did I lose my place that quick? You are already remembering that you already were, right? There is not room for you to get what you want if you are still debating whether or not you are worthy. Believing that worthiness is a feeling is a lie. Your feelings change. Sometimes you're going to get bad news and feel bad. Does that mean you're less worthy? No. Worthiness is your birthright. Why are you worthy? Because you breathe. Why are you worthy? Because you can blink. Why are you worthy? Because you are. Because you simply are. It is not a feeling at all. It is not a feeling. Love is not a feeling. Worthiness is not a feeling. Those are aspects of source that you declare from within yourself. Okay. Hopefully that helps. So basically, worthiness is not a feeling. Long story short, I could have answered it quickly, but I didn't want to, because I always feel very, very passionate when I hear questions like that. How do I change the feeling of unworthiness? It's not a feeling. It's a statement. Whether you feel unworthy or not doesn't matter. It's what you're saying, right? It's not as a man feeleth in his heart, so is he. It's as you thinketh. What is the story that you're telling? You can't be unworthy. It's impossible. You're divine. God is within you. The only thing that can make you possibly be unworthy, you still can't be, but you can pretend to not be. And the easiest way to do this is thinking that worthiness is a feeling. This is why consciousness is key. You have to be so conscious that even when you don't feel good, you have to say, I am that I am, no matter what. I am divine, no matter what. All right? Because they're remembering who they are incorrectly. How come some chase the thing outside them to feel worthy? Because they're remembering themselves incorrectly. Because they're trying to find validation. As within, so without. You can't find validation. There's no validation out there. The more you search for love out there, the more you find reasons to search for love. The more you search for validation out there, the more you find reasons to search for validation. The more you find things that you have to try to heal to become worthy, the more you find things to heal. And do I think Satan can see the end? Like when I said, see things in the end. I do not believe in Satan. I only believe in one power, which is source. I believe of different aspects of you, the universe being within you, that there are, and what I believe Satan represents in scripture is your opposing thoughts, the thoughts that are not true about yourself. There's only one power. That power is light. That power is love. So that's what I believe. So I think that when we start to outsource our power and give our power to everybody else, well, I believe that the thought of Satan is a concession. Even the fall of Satan, from the battle in heaven, right? All that represents is that when we descended into duality, we no longer just wanted to create with light. We wanted to create with darkness. What does this represent? Because we think of darkness and light as good and bad. It just means positive and negative energy. This is what the third eye represents. At first, there was one point of consciousness. That all of a sudden spread into 2 points of consciousness, of positive and negative. Then it split into third, which is you, the descending down into duality, the all-seeing eye, the three points of consciousness and the eye in between This is the observer, the positive and negative. So you can choose what you want. You can choose what you want. And when you choose what you want to experience, the all-seeing eye representing reality looks at you and says yes and gives it to you. This is what it means, right? So we think of Satan, we think of it as you can pretend to be something that you're not and create that reality as well. That's absolutely Genesis. That is absolutely Genesis. The story of Adam and Eve, the story of the fall, the story of the eating of the fruit of the tree of wisdom of knowledge, good and evil. Damn, my bad. The tree of knowledge of good and evil. Eating of that represents the descending into duality. Choosing, being able to, and we think of this as a negative thing. It really doesn't represent anything negative. It simply represents our ability to walk through life and know ourselves as the creator. I have the ability to choose whatever I want. And by choosing whatever I want over time, I remember who I am as the creator. I come into the consciousness of who I am. That's what it means. Right? So when we say things like God descends into human form to know himself as source, it's the same thing as saying you descend into human form to know yourself as source. Do you see that? I hope that flips something in you, right? God descends, right? Because we think that we're pieces of God, fragments of God trying to get whole. You are the wholeness of God pretending to be a fragment. You believe God came down here, incarnate within you, and is trying to figure out who he is through the unfolding and know himself as source. This is you. This is the story of you. This is what you're doing. You descended down here into duality. You ate of the fruit. You were born. And now you're going through life seeing yourself as the creator coming into consciousness. It's all a story of you. You play every role in scripture. You're every single person. They're all aspects of your consciousness. Okay? They're all aspects of your consciousness. All of them. All of them, all of them. All of them, all of them. All right, y'all. I'm gonna give y'all 15 seconds to add something else. No, it ain't freeze. I was just being quiet. Did it freeze or I was just over here being still? I appreciate y'all. What do I think about scamming the... Look, I ain't finna... You gotta be careful about what you say, but all I'm gonna say is this. Hey, whatever you feel is right, you do that. That's what I'm gonna say. Whatever you feel is right, you do that. What do I study to get this? Not what did I study? What didn't I study? So I think some of the most influential books that I've studied haven't been documents truly about like I think what the things that I say, a lot of it is more about it's more about my own perspective than anything. So it's more about the truth that I've come to see through my own study and anything. But people that have sparked me, of course, Dr. Joe Dispenza, Neville Goddard. I was in Abraham Hicks for a while in the beginning, But I came into the understanding that that was more work about my emotional guidance system and using my emotions to understand what story that I'm telling. Manly P. Hall, who wrote The Secret Teachings of All Ages, one of the books that I keep on me. Who else? The Untethered Soul, Michael Singer. I used to listen to a lot of Terrence McKenna when I was really experimenting with plant medicine. Before Michael, I said Neville Goddard. I said Abraham Hicks. I said Joe Dispenza. Right. Well, Neville Goddard, you have to keep reading. So Neville Goddard, he says feeling is the secret. But also remember, Neville Goddard said, when I speak of feelings, I do not speak of emotion. Right? That's clearly what Neville said. Neville said, when I speak of feeling, I do not speak of emotion. He said, when he speaks of feeling, he speaks of the conviction, the knowing that it is done. Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. The other one, Dr. Joe Dispenza, Manly P. Hall. Manly P. Hall. Anyways, y'all, let's end this one with some affirmations. Let y'all go. She's getting a little getting tired. Getting tired. I've done DMT. I've done ayahuasca. I've done shrooms. I've done LSD. Oh man, me saying all these things, bro. I can already feel the band coming. I can already feel the band downloading right now. But a lot of things. All right, but let me go to end this. All right. So I do not strive to become. I remember who I already am. God is within me, so unworthiness is a lie I no longer serve. I speak as one who is sent, not as one who is waiting. I release every identity that cannot hold what heaven is pouring into me. I am worthy because I was created in the image of the I am. I will not forget again. The word is in my mouth and in my heart, and I declare my reality with power. There is no backup plan. I am fully aligned with plan A, my divine destiny. All right, feel these. Know that you already are these, okay? You already are these. Hold up, let me check something. I haven't looked at Instagram in a minute. Dustin, what's up, brother? My bad. I wasn't looking at Instagram. How is the three-letter word, the three-letter substance that starts with the D and ends with the T and the middle letter is an M? It is great. It is extremely profound. It's very short. 7 to 15, not even 15, 7 to 10 minutes. And it's not something that I would do for fun or do a lot because, okay, so when you take certain plant medicines, it changes your state of consciousness. It strips you of your ego. When you take that, it doesn't. So it would be like being tossed into another dimension while still remembering exactly who you are. It's very, very, it can be very disturbing. It can be very disturbing because that reality feels more real than this one. It's very short-lived. By the time you relax enough to know what's going on, it's over. By the time you are like, oh shit, I took this substance, it's a wrap. You're already back. And then it takes you 8 months to figure out what the hell happened. Why the hell was this entity sticking his finger in my nose before I could even realize what was going on? And so it's powerful. It's a very powerful. One of the theories, though, it was scientifically disproven, but one of the theories is that when you pass away or before you pass away, there's a lot of DMT that's released. I said it again. There's that substance that's released into your mind. And once it's released, right, you have that NDE, that near-death experience, and that's what it is. But it was actually proven. Well, you can never really tell what science, when they say it's proven wrong, it's like, you also said if I don't beat my stuff X 21 times a month, I'm gonna get prostate cancer. But we all know that's not true. So, that's one of the theories, is that DMT is released from your brain, because we all produce it naturally. We can just hit it. We can just inhale it. The three letter thing, it's throat cancer. What you talking about? The 3-letter thing, no, I didn't go out of the country to experience that. But whenever I did the brew, I did go out of the country. I did go out to South America to do that. I did a 5-day retreat. I don't know if I would trust anybody here to give me that. I don't know if I would trust anybody here. So, yeah. Because if it happens, it happens. All ayahuasca is, right, it's just brewed DMT. They find a way to brew it so that the DMT just lasts longer. This is why, if you've ever done the difference between like ayahuasca and like shroom, is, how do I explain this? Ayahuasca is more, it's nature, it's the jungle. It has the spirit of the jungle in it. Shrooms don't. Shrooms are a guide. They're their own separate entity. Like the mushroom is an entity, but it's much gentler. It's much gentler. Ayahuasca is like the divine mother that, it's the spirit of the jungle. It shows you who you are in a completely different way. Shows you who you are in a completely different way. Right. And how I would suggest manifesting not being addicted anymore, when you go into the identity of not being addicted, you're not somebody even if you got to pick it up, you tell yourself the story that you're not the person that's addicted to this. Tell yourself the story that you're the type of person right now that is disgusted by that habit. Not in a way that's beating yourself up, but in a way that is reminding yourself of who you are, right? Go to the end. The end is the way. I am the way. The I am awareness is the way of it. Right? But all right, y'all. I'm going to get off for real this time. I do see you all as prosperous, as perfect, as divine. If you don't feel that way, I see you as that way anyway, right? I appreciate the engagement. I appreciate the conversation, of course. Be back on tomorrow. Sometime, maybe in the morning, maybe in the evening, maybe both. We'll see. But appreciate all the messages. If you have topics you want me to talk about, please DM them to me. Right, I will be doing a subscribers thing soon, where it's just gonna be pure Q&A on TikTok and then YouTube as well. But thank y'all for your time. Remember that you have everything that you want. You already have everything that you desire. Everything is unfolding perfectly from within you. The only thing that can stop it is you refusing to believe that you already are the person that you say that you are. Like Neville says, it's a mere assumption that you already are that person. This is the feeling. Feeling is the secret. It is a mere assumption. What is an assumption? It's returning to the state. It's me saying this is working because I am. It's saying I refuse to think of anything other. All right? Step into your power. Stop pretending to be something that you're not. All right? Y'all have a beautiful, beautiful evening. Talk to y'all again soon, man. Peace.